So it's kind of funny. When we had Jeremy Boring on the show earlier this week, it was around the same time Disney announced that they were losing money due to their politics. And I'm like, wow, what perfect timing. And so today we're hearing this big news that the GOP is calling for a travel ban with China over something called the white lung, which is reportedly popping up in the US, Europe, and China. In China, there's videos of more lockdowns, of what look like pandemic lockdown measures. And it feels kind of like this is how it gets started. And the funny thing is, we are hanging out with some of our friends who have some experience with lockdowns, and so we're really excited. Before we get into everything, we do have some other news. I don't know how much we're going to get into. I guess we'll leave it there for now. But go to castbrew.com if you want to support the show. We have the best cup of coffee you'll ever have. We've got Appalachian Nights, of course, Rise with Roberto Jr. And if you support our work with these shows, and if you want to see our coffee shop expand and take off once we do, then definitely go to castbrew.com. But also don't forget to go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member to support the show directly. If you want to support our work, we got a pretty wild show for you tonight because we're going to be doing our first ever live musical performance, full band. And we used to play music on this show, but we haven't in a very long time, and now it's coming back. We were hoping it would be in the new studio, but, we're just going to go with it. So joining us tonight, we have the Defiant, friends of ours. We're really excited. So smash that like button, subscribe, do all that stuff, share the show with your friends. Let's start. Whoever wants to take the lead and introduce yourselves.
I'd like to start by saying I'm not going to get the white lung vaccine. I don't care. I don't.
Well, all right.
At no cost. I don't know what you can say on the show or not, but I'm already refusing it beforehand.
Well, okay.
Hey, how are you, Tim? I'm Dicky Barrett from the Defiant, and I'm here with Pete Parada from the Defiant. And behind me, if you can get a shot of them and the other members of the Defiant are here. And thanks for having us.
And I hear that you have names.
Yeah.
No,
you forgot our name.
Forget the names, dude.
Not the guys in the back.
The guys on the stools. I don't know. There's the young guy. There's the guy that always wears the hat, and then there's the guy from Smash Mouth.
They're all. Oh yeah, guy from Smash Mouth.
That's how I refer to him.
Well, all right.
No. That's Joey LaRocca, right there. That's Johnny Rio. Johnny Rio was in the Street Dogs. Joey LaRocca was from the Briggs. And that's right there is Greg Camp, who's a super, super talented songwriter, has written songs for just about everybody. He's tremendous and very, very talented songwriter.
He wrote everybody's favorite Smash Mouth songs. Is that true?
Yes.
That's what I heard.
He wrote the only ones you've probably heard.
Walking on the Sun?
The best ones. And All Star, he wrote that. And
wow.
Then a bunch of other ones.
All Star is like one of the greatest songs ever written.
Wow. High praise.
Thank you.
Well, but it's
a good one.
Because not only was it a good pop song that everybody liked, but it became a meme.
So
like,
we're starting out with,
for everything.
that's the first thing we disagree on.
I still know all the words.
But it's not so much about me saying I like the song. I'm saying like that song was ubiquitous when it came out, and then it became a meme. Everybody just kept playing it on the internet like crazy, like it was fun. It was funny.
Did you write it from start to finish?
Yes, I did. Like in a garage.
Ooh. How long did it take you to write it?
A few days, probably. Yeah, it was the last song to be added to that album.
There it is.
They basically told us to go back to the drawing board because the album wasn't finished, and I wrote that one and another one, and those were the first two singles. So.
There you go. Wow. Well, Pete, of course, you've been on this show before, right? Or
I've not done IRL. Did Culture War with you?
Yeah.
So,
and so you are the drummer for a lot of bands.
A lot of bands. Yeah. Currently the Defiant and a little group called Timcast as well.
Yeah,
and
I don't know. We just call it that, I guess.
Yeah.
But Pete is on the drums for our music,
Yeah.
which is awesome. You were in the Offspring for a very long time.
Offspring for a very long time. Face to Face, Saves the Day. I've done tours with My Chemical Romance and Devo. And, lost my gig over not being able to get the COVID vaccine and refused to take a fake card. And so some people might know me from all of that drama. And, obviously I wasn't the only one in the industry that was getting leaned on. It happened everywhere. And we have our new band, The Defiant, together, and we're excited to be here tonight, play some music.
Right on. And we got some news to talk about, too. We got Carter Banks hanging out because he's our in-house music guy.
What's up, guys? It's a pleasure to be here with The Defiant. Pete, as always. I know every Smash Mouth song, so it's great to be here with you as well, Greg. And, let's got Ian Cross.
Carter, have you heard of the Boss Tones?
I have.
I'm just asking. We're talking about old bands.
They were formidable, the Boss Tones. You guys kind of helped guide me as
Thank you, Ian.
As a teenager.
Will you shut off Carter's mic?
Well, I got a question for you, Dicky. How come you called the band the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and not just the Mighty Boss Tones or the Boss Tones?
That's a fantastic question, Ian. And all right, let's settle in because this is quite an answer. there was another band we found out later on, and this is long before you could Google or check out like we did with the Defiant, where we were checking out if there's other bands, and we went through a long list of different names we were going to have, and we finally settled on the Defiant. But with the Bosstones, somebody told us, like, we were just about to put out the record, and someone said, there's a band from the 50s. They were a Harvard, like, a cappella sort of doo-wop band called the Bosstones. And we're like, shit, we don't want to change the name of the band this late in the game. So then there was this bartender who was always calling us the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. He was like, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, which we were far from mighty or even mighty. We were far from any mighty at all. But we quickly slapped that on the album cover and said, all right, we'll be the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. And we never looked back.
I mean, Rascal King, when you're like, man, could he ever talk, dude? That line and that song, if you guys don't know the Rascal King, you got to put it on in the background during this interview for a little while. But that just shook me to the core, man. Like, I was an actor at the time, so it was nice to hear a guy talking about the value of being a smooth talker. And even though the Rascal King probably wasn't...
Dude, don't tell me. I know. Talk to your boy.
By the way, the Bosstones are great.
Hey, man.
Right on.
All right?
Well, we got
Smash Mouth over there.
We got Serge.
Yo, yeah, I'm hanging out. I'm excited for the show tonight, guys. It's gonna
With
be
the
good.
best hair on earth, by the way.
What's going on?
Thanks, bro.
We hung out with you all day. Your hair got great.
That's
Hey,
like the
thanks, bro.
80s girl thing, though, where
Hey,
you
yeah,
get the
I got
bangs.
the flying
If you-
seagulls look on.
If you turn sideways, it's just a wave, but from the
Stands out.
front,
yeah.
looks big.
That's how it is. How it goes.
Peacocking.
Anyways,
Well, let's jump into this first story, which will kick off everything. We have this breaking today. GOP senators call for China travel ban to prevent mystery illness spread. The senators wrote to President Biden demanding he immediately restrict travel between the U.S. and China. Okay, I mean, that's it. That's the story, right? You get Marco Rubio, you get J.D. Vance, you get Rick Scott, you get Tommy Tuberville, Mike Braun, you get all these GOP senators. This is around the same time. It was end of December into January. We started hearing about this mystery illness back in 2019 to 2020. A lot of people have been predicting that there was going to be some kind of lockdown measure.
Okay, and where was that taking place at that time?
The first one,
Yeah.
China.
Coincidence?
Well, here we go, man. So now take a look at this. What is causing the white lung? Oh. This is, okay, remember when these photos came out of people's lungs and they were white?
Yeah.
And now it's like happening all over again. It's kind of wild because, basically, I don't think all of you in the band, but many of you, I think, have stories of defying the lockdowns, the restrictions, and the mandates. Mm-hmm. And so the day you're like, hey, we're going to come on and we're going to talk about this, we get this story about it's all starting again. Yeah. And now, of course, they are saying, no, don't worry. There's not going to be another pandemic. Health experts are saying, don't worry about it. But that's the other thing they did. When COVID first started, you had Fauci saying that you didn't have to wear a mask. Don't worry. It's not that big a deal. YouTube was actually restricting content that was talking about it. And then all of a sudden, it turned into the whole country locking down, restrictions on businesses, mandates for certain medical treatments.
Oh, I remember.
I'm hoping that we don't go there, but hey, welcome to the show, guys. What a day to join us.
Well, I couldn't believe it. You had that up earlier on the screen. I said to you, I'm like, that's not from today.
Yeah, it's like that happened
yeah.
today, dude. Yeah, so.
And then we pulled up the band White Lung, which it was
Yeah, I Google searched White Lung. There's apparently there's a band called White Lung.
Already?
Well, they've been around for several years. I mean, this is their time to shine, baby.
search algorithm. You know what? I'm not going to live in fear. I'm done with it. I think a big part of what happened with COVID was people were afraid, and that
Were
was
you
why things
afraid last
spiraled.
time, Ian?
A part of me was like, what if this turns into? I'm not even letting my mind go there this time. Like
Right.
Wash your hands, stay healthy, be your best self. That is it.
I was
some
afraid
sunshine.
for about 15 seconds, and then I smelled bullshit early on.
Yeah, man. I mean, letting like a scientific technocracy guide the world is like, I'm not.
You got a stinky bro on your mic.
Hey, stink bug.
Oh.
What's happening, dude?
What's he doing here? You gotta. Give
That
him
thing
a flip.
carries white lung, dude. You gotta be careful.
Well, hey, hold on. Those stink bugs are from China.
yeah.
For real.
They're
though.
a marmorated
You heard
stink
it
bug.
here
They were like an
first.
invasive species in the 90s. Talk about, was that
Yeah.
intentional? Did
They apparently they arrived in 1996 in PA. I did all this research. It was like, where do these come from, and how do I get rid of them?
And those lantern flies.
I don't even
Aren't
know where
those from
came
China too?
Probably. I don't know.
They're spreading all over, and they're
Right.
big, and they're nasty, and we have these weird
Hold on.
jelly.
You're not kidding me? That bug is from China?
Yeah, it's from
Yes.
China.
There's also that
it's an invasive
disease-
species. In China, there's like a wasp that kills and eats it. But out here, there's nothing, so it's spreading like wildfire. It's all over buildings.
There's
It's
also
crazy.
that one disease, TikTok. Have you heard of it? That's from China.
That's spreading mind viruses.
Mainly infects phones.
Well, let's jump back in
Can
time.
China send that wasp over?
I think there's something about the temperature. They don't do well. And can we get our wasp to take care of it? But let's do this. Like basically, we have this story, and I don't know if this goes anywhere. This is it. The mysterious illness. They're saying, oh no, who knows? And I think the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So we should pay attention to these stories. And I don't know what to tell you, man. You gotta figure out what's right for you. You gotta talk to a medical practitioner that you trust when these things get wild. But I do think when it comes to government authoritarianism, it's entirely another question. We should just say no. And I hope everybody learned their lesson from the get-go. But let's go back in time and talk about why you guys are defiant and what is that all about?
I refuse to wipe down my groceries this time. I don't care what they say. I'm not gonna.
Is that why they fired you the first time?
I
You like
didn't
brought in
wipe-
groceries to the
'cause I
studio and
didn't
you're like, I
wipe
ain't wiping them.
Well, the first time I didn't want to get the COVID shot. And I wasn't afraid of the COVID shot and everything. I didn't like the message. I didn't like the, what it was sending. I didn't, did I think I was going to die from it? No. But I didn't want to get it. So, and the company I worked for was Disney. And they owned the TV show. So
You were on Kimmel.
Yes, I was Jimmy Kimmel's announcer for 20 years on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Wow.
And Jimmy wasn't happy that I wasn't going to get that vaccine, and all the producers of the show were very upset with me. But by that time, I had left California and I was living in Arizona because I brought my kids there because they wanted kids to play with, and Pasadena, California was very tight and very restricted. And so we went there, and they had cousins that lived there. So then Jimmy found out that I wasn't going to get the shot, and he was like, what the hell are you doing? And then to his, in all fairness to him, he, tried to keep me for as long as he could. And then this, piece of paper came in from the Disney and said all Disney employees have to get the vaccine. And then, and I was actually announcing the show from my garage in Arizona of a house that I was.
Would they send you a script in the day and then you'd read it?
I would go into my garage and put on a pair of headphones like this and fire up a computer, and I was right in the control room. And they were, so it was like 5, 4.
Oh, so
3,
you were
2, 1.
live on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But they were like, even though you're in your own home, you can't, you're fired.
No. And then all of a sudden it kind of became important for me to come back to California, and we need you in the studio, which,
Wow, really?
maybe they did. I'm whatever, it's their show. But, but once that came in, then it was nothing anybody could do to keep me on the show. And so
Jimmy tried?
he did. I mean, yeah, I believe he did.
I'm not a fan of that guy.
That's what was so.
It's a bummer, isn't it?
What was so
It's,
crazy?
like me and Adam were really close friends with Jimmy because 20
Corolla.
years, it's hard, so many friends and friendships were busting up and breaking up. And I was a victim of that. And there's people in my life that I don't really care about so much anymore that I once cared greatly about and said, you've shown your colors, you shown me who you are. But it's hard, they're close friendships.
I have to wonder if you're not friends now, were you ever really friends? That's what we say, we've had people who come on this show. We have people who work here and they get texts from people insulting them and saying, I can't be friends with you. And they're like, oh, that's crazy. And I'm like, that person was never your friend. What did you do by saying things you've always said? And it's just, if these people are more concerned about fitting in with strangers than caring for someone they've known for decades, they would never have your friend in the first place.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but then in this instance, that never happened, So, do I have friends that, and this is lifelong, and I'm older than you, Tim. I've had friends, that politically or ideologically, we don't think the same way. But before all this COVID crap and before everything that went down, that was okay. If someone told me, you know, they were voting for George Bush, and I was voting a different way. I was like, okay, but I can still be your friend. You know,
Trump too, though.
That's all changed. I think Trump changed everything.
I think Trump's a symptom. I don't think Trump personally changed it. I think the Trump era.
The Trump era is people cannot deal with if you know.
I'm kind of, part of me is glad it all went down because you really get to see who's evil.
It's
and
it's
who's
kind
awful.
of sorts, the rotten fruit sort of exposed
Yeah.
itself, and
It's important not to hate though, because it's like this dumbass psyop, man. It's like hate the left and the right, and the this and the them, and the up and the down, and and it's like it's all getting through social media, and they're like, did you see far left? This guy's skin color is this color, and this one's this color, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, but look,
Amen.
So what I'm talking about is, I was a huge fan of The Offspring, and then I heard Pete's story, and started talking to Pete, and now I am the opposite of whatever a fan would be. I'm a detractor. I don't know, an opponent. I like their music, their early music. It is what it is. I'm not going to pretend like all of a sudden I hate the music.
Right.
But I grew up listening to this stuff, and then I found out what they had did, and I'm like, wow, these people are bad. And Noodles blocked me.
He blocked me too. That's not a surprise.
And I just will say, it's like a crazy thing. Just the first song I ever learned was "The Kids Aren't All Right," and then one day he's blocked me on Twitter, and I'm like, wow, it's kind of cool, like like I learned this guy's song.
I've never experienced the pain of Noodles blocking me.
He still follows you or something.
I'll hug you guys after. Sounds horrible. How did
Yeah.
you get through it?
We're survivors.
I laughed. I laughed a hearty laugh, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like I grew up playing like "I Choose" and "The Kids Aren't All Right," gone away, and now this guy's like gone hyper political and blocked me on Twitter, and I never even talked to the guy. I don't even know him, but I think it was around the time that we started talking with you and working with you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "You're gone."
Yeah, you can't associate with me.
Yeah,
I'm,
well,
I'm a terrible person apparently. So
I think a lot of people might know your story, but a lot might not. Do you want to explain like what went down with you?
yeah, for sure. I think for all of us here, anyone in the music industry, in 2021, they roll this vaccine out. The whole industry is looking at each other like, all right, well, how do we get back on the road? How do we get back to making money? Because we've bombarded people with fear for a year or more of like, stay in your home, don't gather in groups, don't go outside, don't be in public. And now it's like, well, we'd sure like to start selling tickets again. What do we do? And I think, Live Nation and the other people at the top of the pyramid were like, oh, how about we'll have the idea of the fully vaccinated tour, right? So now we can say, everyone in the bands and crew are fully vaccinated, so it's safe for you to come out and come to the shows again. We'll turn the money spigot back on. Everyone get back out there, and we'll act, COVID's over. As long as you go get this shot, you're going to be totally safe. And at first, I think it also trickled down to the audiences too. Like the couple big artists out of the gate, for whatever reason, they were like, oh, we're doing these shows that are only for the vaccinated. Bring your vaccine card. You can't get in without it. And I think they all figured out pretty quickly that, mandating the vaccine on your band and crew is good for business. Mandating it on your audience is terrible for business. Like they pissed off half of their crowd because a lot of people were not interested in this, or were hanging back to see how it went, didn't want to get one up front, and were pissed that it would be segregating them out of being able to go back out to concerts and things. Especially since, it was pretty well known, if you were paying attention, that it didn't stop transmission. The FDA, even in January 21, I have a screenshot of it that my wife took. They said, well, most vaccines are, made to stop the transmission. This one was not tested for that. We are hopeful that that will be the result. And you're kind of like, I sent that to some of my very, very smart friends, and their response was, well, I don't know. That's weird. That doesn't make sense, but I still think everyone should get it. So
Fall in line or else.
Right. So I knew it was headed my direction. And, so by summertime, we had just put out a new record. We were gearing up to get back on tour like everybody else. And, I thought we had just started a dialogue, and there was, let's try to figure out a solution here. Like I'm not getting this for, my own medical reasons. And
Your doctor advised against this.
my doctor advised against it. And didn't matter. I got out of nowhere, I got this phone call from their manager that was just insane, abusive, like threatening, bizarre. Like, I'm a drummer. I'm used to kind of getting treated like crap. You're at the bottom of the food chain of the music industry, right? What do you call the guy that hangs out with musicians? A drummer, right? So I'm used to crappy phone calls. This was like an annihilation. It was crazy.
I got one for you. What do you call a drummer with no girlfriend? Homeless.
There you go. So many good ones.
I got
so many
one.
good ones.
Hold on. I got one. What's the difference between a moose and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
What is it?
Moose has the horns in the front and the asshole in the back.
There you go.
Well, you said something when you were working on Kimmel, Dicky, like, and this is right along with what you're saying, that like Disney came in and they said everyone has to get this medicine. And everything I know about the medical industry is you go to a doctor, they give you medicine that's tailored for you. They wouldn't say, like, your doctor wouldn't say I'm going to prescribe you a medicine for every human because every human's different. So like it was just shocking and
The
dismay.
one size fits all thing was part of the, what led to me to this is bullshit, because I have children. Like, what I'm going to take, my children are going to take, my elderly mother's going to take, it's all going to be the same thing. My sister who has MS, she's going to take the same thing. And it just, that made no sense. It's like, how do we know this guy, can't eat gluten. His joints are better without eating gluten. This person here, is whatever it is, allergies, we're all different. That's why we have our own personal physicians to assess our own health.
Right. This felt like the first time that it was the whole world can take this thing all at once, and we're all good. No
and we
problem.
just made
I
it.
know nothing about it.
Right.
And then so here, I mean, Dicky's outright like, well, this doesn't sound right to me, so I'm out. And then Pete, you're like, my doctor actually warned me because of my medical history, and they said we don't care.
Yeah. No, I had my medical exemption. Didn't matter. The manager didn't care. And he made it very clear in no uncertain terms that I had the choice of get the shot or I would be replaced.
This is why I'm saying it shows you who's evil. Right. How long were you with the Offspring?
14 years at this point.
14 years.
Yeah. And so I'm like, wow, that was a really weird phone call. Like that, that seems unnecessary. And I took it to the band. They backed him up. Didn't matter. And everything deteriorated really quickly after that. And then, basically overnight, just ghosted. Like, I found out I was replaced. I checked my Southwest app. My flight to rehearsal had been canceled. My access to the band work calendar was revoked later the same day, and that was just it. It was just like, your family, everybody, doesn't matter your race. And it's, they say,
That's
like,
so crazy.
you find out who your friends are, but it's like, when you're in a band, and you guys can attest to this too, your family, like, some years you spend more time on the road with these people than you spend with your own family. And, everyone's your family, but you find out where you are and where you really stand the first time you say no to something. And, this was the first no that I had given, and I was gone.
This sounds like it sounds like the Soviet Union. It sounds like how communists behaved in Solzhenitsyn and things like that. That you were a terrifying other, and you were not adhering to what do they call those things? There's a phrase for it. I don't know. I got to listen to more James Lindsay, like front lines or something like that, or I don't know, some phrase where it's like there's a narrative everyone must follow no matter what. Don't question it. Stay in line. Don't back off. And so when you are even legitimately through
Dangerous
medical
element.
reasons, no, there's
line?
what is it?
Party
No.
line?
There's a
I'm
word
not
for
sure
it.
we're gonna say.
There's a word for acceptable narratives like. You must agree with the Ukraine war. You must agree with the lockdowns. You must agree with the vaccinations. You must side with these political issues. And if you don't, then you're outside. It's crazy that, like, you were saying before COVID, and I would actually add, I think before the Trump era, whatever you want to call it, if you were of different political background, like you could still be friends. It was like, oh, I don't know, I guess. And then we talk. Now all of a sudden it's like, bro, they didn't even call you. They were just like, quick, delete make him go away. We don't even want to hear his name anymore.
Yeah.
That's like weird cult level.
Yeah. Not just me.
Crazy
but
stuff.
To me, it was like my whole family. Our wives were really close. Our kids grew up together. And, and for me, the reason that I didn't say anything at first, like I took a month to kind of clear my head and like see what would happen because I'm just ghosted. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll hear something back. And so nobody said anything. And then they've got a tour coming up and they've got shows. They had a show in Nashville where I live and people are hitting me up for tickets for all these shows that I know I won't be at anymore. So it was like, all right, well, what do we do here? I don't want to have this conversation 500 different times. So, drafted up a statement, was pretty nice, explaining just basically here's here's why I won't be there anymore. I didn't say anything bad about anyone, and was just like, but also said, I don't think this is right. I don't think anybody should be forced to get this by their employer, by the government, by anyone, and so if anybody else feels left out and lost here, like, got your back, understood. And I just figured firing squad, flamethrowers, and that would be that. But
Well,
yeah.
Shout out to the chat. It's mass line. It's the political, organizational, and leadership method developed by Mao Zedong and the Chinese Communist Party. It refers to formulating policy based on theory, implementing it based on people's real-world conditions, revising theory and policy based on actual practice, et cetera, et cetera. But people make references to, like, the Ukraine war starts. You must agree with it. And so you end up with this weird circumstance where the American political left, as we describe it, is critical of the military-industrial complex, supportive of the military-industrial complex, in favor of pro-choice because my body, my choice, I choose my medical practice, but then you should be forced to undergo medical treatments. Completely, none of these things align logically. They align politically. And there's no logic to it, but that is what you must adhere to. Right? When it comes to the U.S. funding of, Israel, for instance, they're like, no, this is bad. We shouldn't do it. When it comes to the U.S. funding of Ukraine, it's like, yay, those Russians are bad. When it comes to medical treatment, it's my body, my choice, except if it's pertaining to lockdowns and mandates.
Yeah.
No logic.
It was bizarre.
Zero logic.
And that's the thing. And then I had people, online coming at me, and people I knew coming at me going, oh, well, you're this right wing thing now, or you're this or that, which that's not insulting to me. Like, I'm friends of all political stripes, but it was just bizarre that it's like, okay, if you won't do this thing, here's the laundry list of things we're going to call you that we think are terrible, but it didn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm standing in the exact place that I've always been. I voted for Bernie Sanders. I'm, have people yelling Trump supporter just because I wouldn't take the vaccine. I'm like, it's not an insult, but it's not accurate.
They don't care.
But I thought we weren't putting, labels on people that they didn't ascribe to.
I love that. Like,
So you're not QAnon?
I'm not. Yeah, go figure. Right?
I figured that was the guy from The Offspring the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
You're not.
Is that? But did any of the other guys in the band, any of you guys experience similar things, like refusing to adhere to lockdowns or anything like that, or is it just is that why these guys are sitting here at the table?
I mean, luckily, I live in Texas, right? So it's not an issue. It never even really came up. Dicky and Pete are my friends, and it was like, holy crap, what's happening to them is so crazy and wrong, and how can I be there for my friends, kind of thing.
Man, that's crazy. That's awesome.
But that's
right?
nice, right?
Yeah, but that's normal.
But that's
you know
the thing.
what I mean?
That's
For
what
all
friends
the
do.
people that
Yeah.
ran from you, there's this other group of people that ran towards you, and you kind of,
Right.
like my wife said, we're not going to hide here. How do we find our people? How do we find our tribe? And for me, it was mostly like to speak out and say something, because I know tons of people got fake cards, tons of musicians, everybody went back to work, kept their head down. I'm just going to ride this out, and that's cool. But for me and my kids,
Do you want me to list those names?
no, we're good.
I know a bunch of them.
A lot of people probably
All right.
do.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you guys what, man.
Tim wants me to list them.
I'm 50-50. Some people deserve privacy. It depends. If they're hypocrites and they're evil
All
and they're
right,
doing
all
nasty
right.
things, you call them out. But, you talk about the people rushing towards you. I'm pretty sure my mom, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure she cried when she found out that Pete Parada, the drummer for The Offspring, was playing drums with us. Because when I was a little kid playing Offspring songs, and she's bringing me like guitar lessons or whatever, this is the band, these are the CDs. I got the tab books for Ixnay and the Hombre, Smash, all at once, and I'm at home, I'm playing it all. And then one day she's like, the Offspring drummer is playing drums with you? Like, this is so amazing. I'm like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's crazy. And then for Ian, when we mentioned that you were coming, Dicky,
Yeah.
Ian starts listing off all the albums he used to listen to.
Dude, loyal, man.
Dude, screw these
Sounds nice and
people.
smooth.
These
I spent the day with Ian. I wish your mother liked me. No, I'm just
she
kidding.
probably does.
It is interesting how if you're a kid and you have like a hero that you look up to, and then you live your truest self publicly, that you may end up working with them. Like, that is mind blowing.
But maybe you wouldn't want to, because like, look, my mom was, when I was little, she's like, oh, Dexter Holland, he's getting his PhD and all that stuff. Like, she was so proud that I was looking up to a band where the lead singer, this rock star, was also getting an education. And I did think that was really great.
Tim, he flies his own plane.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's
He's a rocket scientist.
That's fantastic. And he's a bad person. He's a bad guy.
I don't
Because
know.
I got if there's no excuse, man.
He broke young Tim's skateboarding, young
He did it.
13-year-old heart.
Child me is like learning now and is smashing guitar in the background.
What a great guy Pete is.
I mean, I would push back on anyone being bad people. I think sometimes people make choices that I would consider bad. I didn't enjoy the choice they made for me. I don't think they're bad people. We were friends right up until I never heard from them again.
You're a nice guy, Pete. You're a nice guy, but I got to tell you, here's how I imagine the circumstance. Right, they're a big touring band. Right, they're doing a bunch of shows, and these venues mandate it because the government mandates it.
But the venues weren't.
Not all the venues were.
The venues weren't mandating it. They left. Well, I guess on the audience. So yeah, some venues were saying, we'd
then they're
like
even
the
worse
band.
than I thought.
But I know plenty of bands that had, someone had a medical exemption and it was accepted. It's not like they were clamping down because no one wanted to cancel shows for any reason. It was just show us a piece of paper, come play your show. Whether it says you got it or you can't get it.
Is it public how much they made when they did shows, like what their rates were? I don't want to out anybody's private business stuff, but I don't know if it's like publicly known or something.
I don't know. I don't even know myself. So.
I'll just say, they're not poor, right? And my view is, if I had a band, if I had a show, if anyone at Timcast and we were going to do shows, we're going to do a bunch of venue stuff, and something like this happened, there's no way in hell I would cut off communication and terminate someone I'd worked with for 14 years. My worst case scenario would be something like, I'd go to you, Pete, and I'd say, we got your back. We'll keep you in the studio as long as we can. When we can get you back on the shows, you're there. We'll keep paying you. Come hang out. The venue doesn't let you in, screw them. We may have to get a touring drummer, but we got you, man. We're here with you on this one.
I wasn't allowed in the studio either.
But that's it.
Well, that's the thing, though. The conversation I was trying to have with them was, hey, we don't know yet. The manager's screaming at me, well, there's borders you can't cross. And I'm like, well, which ones? Well, we don't know yet. Great, we don't know yet. There's venues you can't get into. Which venues? Well, we don't know yet. I'm like, well, then it just felt like it was a little soon to pull the trigger on get this or get out.
Yep.
And then they go on tour, and I'm getting text messages and Instagram messages from all these other bands. Then they're like, dude, we're on the same festival with your old band today. None of us got the shot. Nobody asked us for papers or anything. And I'm like, I know that.
That's
and you
why.
know that, but I can't get through to anybody. Yeah, there was no venue. The fall of 2021, there was no venue in the United States that I could not have played with them. I looked up everyone, believe me, until I finally had to just stop caring for my own sanity and mental safety. And but once they went to England in October, November, yeah, I wouldn't have been allowed to go there, and I understand that.
Then I tell you, like, I would outright just be like, bro, if you can't come in the studio because they won't let you, if they can't let you enter the board, my response would not be, well, you can't cross the borders, you can't work with us. My response would be, looks like you're getting a year where we're going to pay you because they're not letting you come. Keep an eye out, and we'll go through all the fine details as soon as we can get you in. We get you in. If you can come in this country, you're with us. If not, hang out at home, and we'll keep paying you.
Yeah, it wasn't about that. It was just you can't say no to people that are
Well, of course.
Yeah, I was not in a position.
For
to
so
say
many
no.
people, though, it's also just optics. They don't want the controversy. They just want to be able to say that, yeah, everyone's that.
Man, it's such a bummer. But I think we're winning on this front. It's not just about COVID. Trump was also there's like a similar thing here, but COVID was really like. With Trump, there's a lot of people who voted for him but kept their mouths shut. With COVID, it was just like 10x. I'm worried something like this happens again, where it's a mass line you must adhere no matter what.
White lung?
White lung, I don't think it'll be white lung. People are pointing out like it's affecting kids, and that's a problem for sure.
But is that the way back in though? Because COVID wasn't affecting kids, and that was the one thing they couldn't convince people, and I think that.
Yeah, that's suspect, right?
Things to kind of crumble, but this one out of the gate.
Make no mistake about it. This time it's affecting kids.
But I mean, like with Trump's campaign, a lot of people kept their mouths shut because they didn't want to be outed as a Trump supporter. But there was no harsh extreme authoritarianism. You're not locked in your home. Then they do the lockdowns, and it's the same thing. It's the political line you must adhere to no matter what, and the punishment was 10 times more severe.
COVID was like
how many? Well, sorry, but like. There are some people who got fired for being Trump supporters, but early on it wasn't as pronounced. There are some musicians who were accused of being at January 6th. They got fired. But like the COVID stuff is outright. Take a medical treatment, and in your instance, against the advice of your own doctor. And that's crazy because you should definitely just not listen to strangers and listen to your doctor. And the level of this is what I mean. If you supported Trump or didn't support Trump, it's kind of like, who cares? But people were weird about it. If you couldn't get a medical treatment, they destroyed your life. Yeah. The next level of this, follow the line or else, terrifies me. Mm-hmm. It's gulags. It's do it or we're putting you in a you're going to go break rocks.
I feel like the COVID experience was like a psychological vaccination on the human consciousness. Like it was such intense fear, propaganda, and numbers being flashed on CNN, death numbers, these horror, scaring people insane. And then numbers start to come out that it's like a 99.7% survival rate. And you're like, what in the hell did we just do for 2 years? And now people are like immune to this, and not 100%, but it's like we're ready for this kind of stupid fear prop now. Like I'm hyper vigilant against fear propaganda at the moment, and I know a lot of other people that weren't in 2020.
Well, but even at the time in 21, I mean, people like me that got let go, other people from bands all around that got fired. My guys went on tour. They all caught COVID anyway. I wasn't there to blame. Like it didn't matter. It was just about getting everybody in line. Like everyone has to do this. We're not going to have any dissenters in the camp.
It exposed a lot of people, a lot of bad people.
Yeah, and now,
or you don't agree with bad people, but it exposed a lot of people who are willing to engage in dark deeds.
There you go.
We'll agree on that.
I'll meet you there.
I'm
just saying, like, yeah. But for me, with the white lung or whatever the new thing, the fact that the newest round of the vaccine, that the brand new one that nobody wants.
There's another round, or
there's an updated booster, right? So now they're saying what Hochul in New York was like. Well, if you got the other ones, it doesn't matter. Now you need this new one because nobody wants it. I think it's up to 14% uptake. So it's like, does that make the other 86% of Americans anti-vaxxers now?
Did you?
Like,
oh wow,
yes,
that low. Did you see Ken in Texas? They're suing Pfizer. The Texas AG is suing Pfizer, stating that Pfizer lied about the efficacy of the vaccines and what they did.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of wild to think a state is not going after these corporations saying that they put out lies. Not what really pissed me off. YouTube to this day is aligned with a company that is currently being, I believe they're being sued. I believe that's what Ken Paxton launched. Right? Was it a lawsuit or an investigation? I think it's a lawsuit.
Yeah, I think it's a lawsuit.
So YouTube's policies are to align with the opinions of private capitalist corporations that are selling a product instead of board certified doctors who are going on YouTube and saying like, here's my expert analysis. No, those people are getting banned. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anybody who said anything against the narrative was banned.
I wonder if your doctor went on YouTube and stated, here's what I told Pete. I wonder if he would have got banned.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
It was just the fear was so elevated in 2020, like June 2020, legitimate doctors that were offering counter opinions were getting banned. It's not the case anymore. A lot of these same opinions now are kosher.
Well, because a lot of the stuff they said back then that was called conspiracy stuff has been widely accepted as fact now. But, no credit given to the people who were banned and censored over it. But now we all go, oh, well, yeah, obviously it didn't stop transmission. And obviously, but it's still, then they like to twist the wording and like, well, it cut down on hospitalizations. Well, it made your symptoms less severe. And it's like, well, that's not what was sold to everyone.
So or stuff they can really even prove.
Right.
Are these guys that you want to name? Are they so well known?
I don't want to do anything that anybody doesn't want me to do. I don't.
We want name. See, you joke.
I just like the thought of people I know going, oh shit.
He likes to have the list. He likes to have the list.
It's like
I think we got to name them.
But
it's an issue of you name people who've done bad things. Like I'm going to criticize the Offspring because I think that was a total dick move, and we know they did it.
Yeah.
But I think we got to name people who've done bad things because the issue is these people are coming up to a fork in the road. Yeah. There is a path towards the light and a path towards the dark, and they're looking around like, well, if I go to the dark side, I'm going to get some free stuff as long as nobody finds out.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the right thing because they're scared everyone will watch them do it. They're scared that the people on the dark side will attack them and they'll get harmed. They know that if they go to the dark side, the people on the light won't attack them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
good people.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that there's a good percentage of those people that think that they're going to the light and I'm going to the dark. I know for a fact I made my own choices. I made my own decisions. You think that they know willingly? I think that...
No, I think it's like 80-20. I think 80% of these people who are standing with
I'm going
the
to need a
mob-
pencil. Now we got to do math.
We're doing math.
Hand me
I think
80-20.
yeah.
Got some paper.
1 in 5 people genuinely
Scratch
think they're
pad.
doing good. The rest are like, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I hope no one finds out because I don't want to be the one to get the negative.
I
impact.
think for sure. I think there's plenty of that. Here's the thing. You know, whatever we want to say, whatever. Thank you.
Give
for
it to
the
me,
song.
Professor.
Carry the one. Carry the one.
That side's already taken.
Why did you write your name
Serge
on
gave
it?
it to me. I don't know why.
You wrote your name
What
on
is
it.
it?
I think it's because I
Notes?
claimed that piece of paper when I tore it off. So it's
Okay.
like, this is yours now.
Here's the thing. I think, we can talk about the negative. We can talk about, the offspring or whatever they didn't do or however you feel about them or they shattered young Tim's skateboarding and listening to Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Why don't you get a job?
That was your
Yeah.
song?
That was
your
one
jam?
of them. Yeah, super easy. It was like F. What is it? What is that song like? F and
Yeah, it's Obla D, Obla Da.
Yeah, it's Obla, exactly, right?
That was everybody's favorite line to yell at me online was why won't you get a jab? I was like,
But yo,
super
can we
clever.
can we point out how conservative the messaging
Let me
of
just
Offspring
finish
was?
my thought, and we can go back to your favorite band. But I think I think the point needs to be made that it's like through all of that, me and Pete are now friends, and me and the
Yeah.
guys from the Defiant. Good has come from that. So whatever, like I'm so past like. I want things to be different going forward. Whatever this white lung may or may not be, or whatever the next, bullshit they're going to throw at us in order for corporations to make a lot of money. I hope that we've learned something from this. Like, oh, I did that last time, but I'm not going to do this again this time. And I think Pete's point about this, the 53rd booster, nobody's getting it. I think, slowly but surely people are starting to learn whatever's going on here. So it's like I don't really the negativity. I don't think I need to bask or even dwell or even live in that at all. To me, it's like Noodles and Dexter forever will be Noodles and Dexter to me. And the Todd, who plays guitar now, I guess for the Offspring,
Bass.
Bass. He's bass. He was bass player, but
Yeah,
didn't they move him to guitar?
He was guitar other way around.
Oh, other way around. He wanted
what
the bass
happened with-
job.
What do you want from me?
Figure this out. I thought that was like he was
bass
bucking to be the guitar. All right, so I got it backwards. Anyway, so he's the bass player. He's been my friend since we were years, for a long time. He was a kid when I first met him, and when I wanted to meet Pete, when I found out that what had happened to him, and I said, hey, maybe we should make some music together. Todd gave me Pete's phone number easily, willingly, and not with any kind of anger or anything. So. I'll never forget. I'm gonna I'll give you my list, Tim. You can put it in a safe somewhere. I won't forget, the way people behaved and the way they acted. And there's certain things that happened to me that is in my head. But if these people came up to me, be, hey, how you doing? We played a festival a couple of weeks ago. Bunch of bands that I know, probably very negative about us, were real welcoming to us, and we were treated really well at the festival by the people there.
I'm more of a figurative divine retribution kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't want bad people. Okay, how about I'll try and.
But
I'll
there
work with
are
you here.
really bad people.
We
in
don't
this
want them
world,
to
so
keep
let's-
doing these things,
Yes.
and we don't want them
No.
to do it to more people.
No.
And so, what I would love if after they axed Pete the way they did,
Yeah.
they couldn't find another drummer, and they were like, bro, and not maybe for even ideological reasons.
Yeah.
Let's say they say, okay, you know what, this Pete guy, we've known him for 14 years, and we don't want to work with him anymore because he won't take this. His doctor doesn't want him to get this vaccine, so we're firing him. So then they call up somebody, we need a new drummer, and they all go, wait, you fired your drummer over what? Because a doctor gave, are you nuts? You're going to fire me in 2 seconds.
Well, the problem with that is Tim, and I know you love the Offspring so dearly, is that
I like their songs. I won't deny. Go listen to that
is
music,
that
man.
playing the drums for the Offspring is a real easy job. So replacing Pete was no. I'm kidding.
Well, that was a thing that I would.
He
get,
was
though.
way better drummer than they needed.
Look, I'm just saying, if no drummer agreed to take your position, they'd be forced to say, we're sorry, Pete. And the bad action is rectified, and through no pain other than you made a mistake. Nobody wants to work with you for doing this because you did a mean thing to somebody. But instead, some other drummer's like, I'll take the money, I don't care.
There are other methods
Yeah.
of retribution that can manifest, like if Pete were to leave the band and then Offspring makes another song that's even better than anything they've done, but the Defiant makes one even better than that.
Well, we've already
that's
done
true.
that.
Well, that
I gotta be honest. Yeah, I think
Like
like the
12
songs you were
times.
playing earlier, I was like, wait, that was an original, and I was like, I thought you guys were just jamming, and it was actually, I assumed it was like a top 40.
Yeah, it's just ours.
Just
that
good. I mean, with the Smash Mouth guy, what do you say? I mean, you got one of the greatest songwriters of this or any generation.
Greg's the
Smash
Smash
Mouth is
Mouth guy.
Very inspired by the Bosstones, actually. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now.
Thank you.
That is
Greg.
kind of
There
the
you go.
coolest thing ever, though, to be honest. Like, just getting to work with other musicians that you've also liked.
It's a blast, and
Yeah.
and not only that, because we all have the same beliefs and the same sort of values, and not in a million years would, if someone came to me and said, hey, my doctor said, I can't take this and everybody else is going to, I figured, just like you said, I would have figured out a way.
Yeah.
This guy is my friend, and that just the way I've always done things, and the way it's if you want to talk.
I don't know about the rest of your shirts, but you got Pete's got the Misfits on, and Michael Graves has been here. He's a rad dude.
Michael's awesome. I played on one of his songs.
Yeah,
He's a great dude, and he had a different kind of, for lack of a better term, cancellation journey than me or other people
Yeah.
and whatever. But he's rad. He's rad. And I met him through you guys here. So it was.
Yeah, we
The first punk show I ever played with my band Impact Unit, hardcore band, was opening up for the Misfits
oh wow
in Boston. I was 17 years old.
wow.
Yeah.
See, that's for I think a lot of people listening right now, especially the people who've been commenting, like they bought all the Boston records. They were kids listening to this
People are
stuff.
commenting?
Yeah, they're chatting, they're writing about. But I mean, like that story is like so many people are inspired, and that's like the stuff of legends for them.
It was a thrill. It was actually a pretty big kind of famous show. I think they made their video for Brain Eaters in Boston the day before. And they had a bunch of Boston hardcore punk rockers and some of the guys from the FUs, DYS, bass player for my band Impact Unit, a kid named Sam McAfee, nice old man like me. They were in this, and look it up. Brain Eaters is the name of the song. Not you, Ian.
Oh.
and not even now.
can't stop me,
Not
Dicky.
even now.
I'm talking to the people commenting.
Oh, Brain.
So,
You-
yeah. So it's a great video of them just, I guess they're eating cow brains.
Oh wow! Kind of just to wrap up my last point. Yeah, I can understand.
Did I step on it or shit on it?
I don't
In any
think
way?
so.
No,
No.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying about we want to find the positive and move forward and focus on the good.
I couldn't for a million years. I don't like my friends being treated badly, but we're moving on.
But then my concern is, what if they do it again? What if they do it worse? What if our culture becomes dominated by people who know they can get away with doing bad?
I think you want to
Too late.
forgive.
For sure, but don't we want to just resist and say at the very least?
But
don't do
here's
that?
the thing about this particular band is that there was a lot of anticipation about us even just doing our first show and like what that would be like, and a lot of people were like, oh, they're gonna get booed off stage and all this kind of thing. It's like us doing good and us doing our music and just
That's
doing
true.
well
That is a fair point.
is very powerful.
And actually, now that you guys with this new album are gonna, just shatter the Billboard charts and make millions and millions of dollars, everyone's gonna be sorry. They're gonna regret it.
Sure.
I think
From your mouth to God's ears, my friend. Thank you, young Timmy.
That's the
Pool.
thing with still, people yell at me online, like, why are you still talking about all this? And it's like, because I don't want people to forget. All I see right now is what you're saying is, oh, we need an amnesty. We need to,
Yeah.
we're going
And
to
they-
memory hold this. We did the best we could with the information we had, and that's bullshit.
I'm sorry,
they-
with no amnesty, we need a Nuremberg.
It's crazy that they say that when they also simultaneously wished death on you.
Yeah.
Right.
I want you to die. I want you to get no hospital care if you get sick.
Didn't Kimmel say that?
Yeah.
Like the things that they said, and now they want you to move on. It's like without saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry that I said such
Right, like
awful things to you."
They like to say we all said things that we regret, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
still
did-
back everything that I said, but now that the narrative has shifted, everybody's like, well, I don't want to admit I was wrong, so maybe we should all just.
I'm sorry,
walk
dude.
away.
I gotta go. I gotta say, I mean, if you, Dicky, went to the hospital, Jimmy Kimmel thought you should die. I'm sorry, man. I don't like the guy.
Homie, believe me, that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Believe me. And I'll tell you something. I was still announcing the night he said it.
Wow.
And he knew that I was not going to get vaccinated. So, and he knew, and we were friends. And we talk on the phone. Tim, when I tell you, we talk on the, hey, you know, the same old stuff we always talked about. How you been? I did this and that. But so, yeah, it broke my heart. But there was so much else going on at the time for me. And you know, when I decided not to do what I did, when I decided I wasn't going to get that COVID shot, it affected me monetarily too. It affected, you know, my livelihood and my lifestyle. And it wasn't an easy decision. But the reason I made that decision is because there's people that followed what I do. And, you know, were Boston's fans. You know, there's Ian's out there that were Boston's fans said, well, Dicky did this, so I guess it's cool. And I just didn't want to send that signal. I didn't want to tell them not to.
I'm really excited to say this next line because before the show, when we were talking about, you know, the Smash Mouth music, and I started thinking about the 90s playlist that we got going on, and of course the impression that I get. I mentioned you have that line in the song, I'm not a coward, I've just never been tested. I like to think that if I was, I would pass. And I was like, I looked up and I was like, bro, you passed.
Well, thank you for saying that.
It's kind of just such a cool thing for me. I'm like, I'm a little kid. Of course I knew the song. We're in my car. I have 90s playlist. 90s was the last decade. My favorite decade, sorry guys, is the 80s. But the 90s music, of course, has been in rotation. And so
my favorite decade is the 70s. That
Yeah.
70s stuff was great, dude.
What was your favorite stuff?
I mean, it's true.
AM Gold. I liked all of that. You know, Seals and Croft or America or all the the California stuff, early California stuff.
But anyway, that line, man. It's like I grew up. I remember hearing that. It was brilliant. It's a brilliant lyric.
Well,
the
I'll
whole
tell you,
structure of it.
the song itself was just that. Was just about. I mean, we were a ska band playing ska music, traveling around in a van, and then eventually a bus, and we had the opportunity for there was 12 guys in that van that could go from city to city, show up. People were excited you were in their town, and they'd come out and hear you play. And it's like, wow, this is a great life, which led me to think about, generations that went before us. And it's like, I'm so, the people that lived through Vietnam or, your grandparents, the Great Depression and all kinds of, and I'm like, my generation just really hasn't had anything, and maybe enter, 9/11 and then, this for me, this the pandemic and everything, the lockdown. So, and me being forced to say, oh my God, I'm going to do something that's going to possibly, affect, my family.
Was it as hard as you imagined the challenge would be? When you wrote that song?
Dude, I was laying awake at night going, I should just do it. I should just go against all my values. I should go against all, my beliefs, and I can do it. I'm not, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not, but I had a very supportive wife, and my kids are wonderful. They're probably younger than a guy my age should have, but I can't imagine the world without them. But I said no. But the one thing that I kept thinking was I don't want people to get a vaccine based on my decision when I know, or even I didn't even want to get the fake card. I didn't want to signal, and I didn't want to, So for me, it was off the table, and I couldn't do it. And
I know a lot of people who I believe have fake cards.
And
nobody says it explicitly, but you get a wink, and you're like, I think I know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I
and
know
when
tons of
I
them.
have plenty. You want me to read the list?
I kind of do. I know you do.
That's the thing, though. When for me with the fake card thing, because that was suggested too. Like, well, we'll just do this, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that. Because same. I don't want to look like I'm okay with any of this because I'm not, and I don't want anyone thinking, oh, everyone in the band got it, so I should get it too.
Yeah.
But not just that, your position was substantially worse because you have a doctor saying like, hey, Pete, based on your history, I don't think this is a good fit for you. And then you're like, I'm going to tell everyone I did anyway.
Yeah.
And not only are you then saying, I'm okay with this, you're also saying, even when my doctor told me not to, I did it anyway. And it's like,
But also,
nah.
you take that card and then you lose your voice there. Now I can never say anything because now, there's legal ramifications there. And so I'm looking at my kids and going, well, what am I showing them here? If I'm hiding from this or I'm not standing up here, what kind of father am I? So yeah, we're
Hey,
gonna
Dad, what
face
did you do?
Yeah, going to face the firing
I folded
squad.
like a deck chair and I got a fake card.
Right, but show them that there's no opportunity or job and there's no one that above you, your employer, government, anybody that should be able to tell you what to do with your body. And if I can't stand up here and show them, how do I expect them to hold on to themselves later in life? So for me, if those are the only two people that were affected positively by my decision, then that's plenty for me.
So what's it been like since, so you guys are in a band, you got songs coming out, you're playing shows, obviously, right?
Yeah. Yep. Just started playing shows. Record came out right before Halloween.
We've got a show coming up.
Yeah, we got a show next week in Anaheim with the Aquabats.
Oh,
That's gonna
wow.
be super fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's no beef. Everyone's super chill and the fans are going to show up and
Yeah. You mean beef amongst us?
no. I mean like people aren't screaming and boycotting your shows. Like there's other bands. Like,
We'll
what's
let you
going
know.
on?
I'll text you from the show.
This is your first, but you've played the shows before, right?
Yeah, we played that festival in Southern California as well.
Yeah, so we just did one show a few weeks ago. This will be our second show.
You see some of these guys from these bands who are running these fake cards. They like put their heads down and just like scuttle out of the room.
No.
I ran into the Teenage Fan Club. Is that the name of that band?
No, Teenage Bottle Rocket.
Teenage Bottle Rocket.
Oh yeah.
And it's a band that the Boston's took on the road years ago when they were kind of just starting out, Teenage Bottle Rocket. And they were good guys and we enjoyed being around them and I liked the band. But during the pandemic, there was a lot of hullabaloo around them where they were actually, I'm like reading the paper and I go, what's this all about? Teenage Bottle Rocket is playing a show in Florida. And if you're vaccinated, it's, $20.
Price, yeah.
And if you're unvaccinated, it's $1,000.
I remember that.
You remember
Yep.
that? This is Teenage Bottle Rocket. So I was so angry. I was like, why the hell are they doing that? And then they ended up on CNN. And I could see they looked like kind of deer in the headlights on the show, on the CNN show, and they're real enthusiastic like CNN was about it. Like, look at these guys. This is just great. So you're going to do good for you. If you're unvaccinated, they're like, well, kind of stammering and stuttering a little bit. And the segment ended, but I've been mad at them since. Like, just
Well,
privately.
it was illegal what they did.
Well,
We covered
they were
it.
playing this festival.
Yeah.
And we pulled up in the parking lot, and I got out. Me and Greg drove down together, and I got out, and they were like getting out of their van next to us, like, "Oh shit, the Defiant!" This is, I was walking around like that anyway, around the thing, like I was all, hello, how are you? And then the Defiant is here. And about halfway through the day, one of the guys from Teenage Bottle Rocket goes, "Dude, I really want to tell you a story," and he explained to me basically. He got railroaded. The whole band got railroaded. It's like we wanted to start playing shows again, and then, all of a sudden, this promoter starts announcing it's $1,000 for this. We were scrambling to find out what the hell's going on and why are they doing that. And then they got the news involved. And once the news were involved, now they're on CNN. Now they're on people are doing. And this is at the time where it's kind of, they didn't know what to do. So CNN made a story. I mean, should they have said, hey, under no uncertain circumstances, but they didn't know. They didn't want to be thrown in they all got shots. They were all vaccinated guys. And so they were agreeing with the thing, but they didn't agree with the show and the terms as it was.
I'm fairly, so I think in the real world, you can't discriminate on the basis of disabilities and things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's an issue for someone who's goes to their doctor and the doctor says you're not a candidate for the vaccination.
Yeah.
Like for instance, if Pete went to that show and they tried charging you $1,000 because your doctor has prohibited you or advised you against, there's something else you can do. That's like what is it? The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're not allowed to charge someone more money based on like a medical medical issue. Yeah. However, I kind of feel like you go to any judge with
I'm
that.
not familiar with the ADA. I'm sorry.
Well, it's basically non-discrimination based on medical issues and disability.
Okay.
Whereas EEOC is like non-discrimination in the workplace based on certain characteristics, and then you have human rights law in states that protect customers and things based on race. So the Civil Rights Act would protect you based on race, religion, national origin, etc. But I'm fairly certain if you brought suit, the judge would ignore the law and just side with the cult and be
Yeah.
like, we are all marching in lockstep. We don't care what the law is.
Well, at that time, there was such a fervor and such a,
Yeah.
oh, this is great. They should pay $1,000.
What if they did though, and then you would have all the people that paid 20, and then the people that paid
big circle
1,000,
around
and they'd
you.
be like, "Well, now we're unsafe, and they're still here." Like,
Yeah, exactly. That
Then
makes
what?
everyone safe.
Carter, I doubt anybody paid $1,000.
But I mean,
I kind of
what
wish
if they
I did.
But that was the ridiculous.
You would have.
Because
Wear a T-shirt that says I
Quick, get
paid
me a ticket.
$1,000
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah.
unvaxxed and then just be like, who wants to stand next to me? You know what I think? Nobody would care.
Well, that's how ridiculous everything was at the time, though, because it's like, okay, cool. So you're mandating it on your band and your crew. You're not mandating it on the crowd. Is there some invisible barrier between the crowd and the band? You're all crawling over each other. You're screaming and singing, leaning out in the audience. How does it make any sense medically that, half of the people here don't have it and half do? Like,
Let's-
That's a
made no
good
sense.
point. That's an excellent
Right.
point. Yeah.
But let's even go beyond this. I mean, the who was it? Was it Bad Religion? They put out that alt-right song. Do you remember this? The kids are alt-right. I think the name
Yeah,
of
it
it
was
was.
Bad Religion, yeah.
Yeah. That song was pro alt-right, and it was the weirdest thing for me. That I don't know if they're trying to be ironic in praising white nationalism or what was going on. But I bring this one up because something weird happened in the Trump era with punk rock, where punk became corporate mainstream. Rage Against the Machine is now known as Rage on Behalf of the Machine. You're like, what's up with this? Like, have you guys experienced this? What is it?
Wasn't my fault.
Yeah, you jumped ship. I mean, you were like, I'm out of here.
I just don't think they realize. I don't think they realize.
I think people are into legacy protection mode. Like they're playing prevent defense here. Everybody's so scared because everyone's getting called out for something all over the place, right? So all these bands are like locking down, hunkering down, keep your head down, don't do anything controversial, don't say anything controversial. Like, let's just ride this out. Like
The people were
everybody's
talking-
worried about getting their whole legacy erased for doing one thing wrong.
Voting for Trump.
But also that whole concept of like being anti-establishment, being like, fuck the man, all this kind of thing was sort of easy to say when it didn't really mean anything. It was just, you know what I mean? It was just like you could just throw that stuff out there.
That's so.
But when it actually
Yes,
is
you're
like,
right, man. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
How many punk rock, fuck the man bands said, "Govern me harder, daddy," as soon as it came down to the line?
That's how
I
I
think
feel. I'm
there's
like,
such a vast majority of people too that were coming from a good place in the sense that they were just trying to do what they thought was the right thing, and I think that they're really victims as well. They just don't understand. They don't,
I disagree, but I understand what you're saying. But I disagree because that's what we call the banality of evil.
Yeah.
The commonplace actions of the ignorant masses, believing that what they're doing was a just cause,
Right.
leads to people being loaded up into train cars and then brought off to gas
They
chambers.
just don't see it though. You know what I mean? They think they're doing the right thing, and their power's much bigger than themselves. That are
Snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. But if we this is what just comes back to. I mean, all of these people who marched in lockstep with authoritarian, fascistic ideologies and forced medical treatments will gladly do it again if they think the pain is on their side and not on our side. What I mean is, it's like I was saying with the two roads. If they look over here and all we say is, we will forgive you and just move on, they're like, okay, then I have no risk whatsoever for knifing you in the back.
Right.
And they look to where they're standing, and the guy next to him says, you make one wrong move, and I'll destroy you. And they're like, I'm with you, because he knows none of you guys will ever speak out. You'll defend yourselves, you'll move on, you'll be successful. Those are all good things. But it's like you're saying with I understand there's a difficult line of like, are you really going to read off a list of names of bad people? That's why I'm like, some people may have done bad things, but we will try to forgive as many as we can when it makes the most sense. We'll try to inform them and say, hey, come to the side of the light. Don't do it again because here's the risks you face. But some of these people are just, I'm sorry, man. I know you don't agree, but I think some of these people are evil.
You got to like forgive, but not forget. Like those people lost their knife privileges because if you really think that they're going to turn around and knife you in the back, like you take their knife away. That's what you get for doing that. I forgive you, but you don't get to use your knife right now. And
well,
like,
yeah, if we could take everybody that got the last 3 years so catastrophically wrong who were in charge, can we not let them be in charge again next time?
and it's not, I think it's not worth being angry about. We should
If there's
do that.
no
Pete.
accountability, they'll keep doing it.
But it's not worth getting. It's like if you're in a cycle of abuse, if you're abused, it's important for you to be able to forgive that person so you don't live in hatred, because the hatred just kills you. It's bad for you. It's like holding on to anger only burns you. You know, that metaphor. I think it's like Sun Tzu even maybe. So I think that's the state of mind. I'm not angry with these people. I won't let myself get there, but I don't trust. I have less trust for the masses than I did before. That's for sure. I just think we need to establish counter narratives before ahead of time, like we're talked about White Claw or whatever the hell it's called. White Claw. Alien subterfuge.
Too.
Yeah, what I'm talking about.
White Claw is a
What's next? Is the power going to go?
Fang.
Yeah, White Fang.
White Zombie.
White Zombie. I love them.
White Lung.
It's kind of fun
They're a
talking
band
about like,
too, though.
what's the next big psyop? If we can talk about it now and ridicule it, by the time it comes around the bend, everyone's ready for it. That's the way to beat in the future, not like scream at them when they're already coming at you.
I want to say this, because when I said this to Dicky before the show, he told me to say it on the show, and then he wrote it down. Because I said, if you want to really make a positive change, buying the Defiance new album is more effective than donating to a politician and voting. I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't donate to politicians. Those are important too, and I think you should definitely vote. But politics is downstream from culture. And a successful band that... So I talk about ways to prevent this stuff from happening again. Here's a simple way. The Defiant ends up becoming a multi-platinum band, and you guys are the biggest thing ever. You know, winning the lottery ticket levels of odds, like, are you going to crack a synth pop Billboard Hot 100 and beat Taylor Swift? I got to be honest, I don't think so. But that level of success, sorry guys,
have faith, man.
But that level of success
started.
is trend setting. Sends a message to regular people that the path of success is in standing up for these values, being a good person, and not being on the wrong side of history or however they call it. If the reason I'm so invested in building culture, like we're doing the skate show, I've been posting a ton of skate clips, is I want young people to look at the success and say, I can be defiant and succeed like they did. If you guys don't succeed, kids are going to grow up believing I have to just toe the line, otherwise I'm doomed. So while voting is important, the arts and music and media that persists instructs
More
the politics
specifically, the Defiant.
The Defiant as a band specifically is going to save the world. You got to buy their album.
Come on, let's play a song.
That's
You will
the
play
cue right
something.
there.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, though. You know, politics is very wishy-washy, very transient, and follows trends. Where do trends come? Trends come from culture. So yeah, I agree. You can affect politics through culture, where you can't do it the other way around.
You go to these. Look, they just expelled Santos, right? I mean, that's big news. We're having fun talking cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Santos is a Republican. They say he's a liar and he lied about all these things. So they vote to expel him from Congress. There's a video of them taking his plaque off the wall, removing him from his office. Jamal Bowman, the Democrat, committed a crime, going to a fire exit, pulling the warning signs off and pulling the alarm and running away. And they don't do anything to him. Because the machine, the politics is controlled. So even when Republicans win and all these people are like, we're going to vote Republican this time because Democrats are doing all these bad things, what happens? They expel the Republican because he's a liar, but not the Democrat who's literally committing crimes in the Capitol complex. That's what you get with politics. So you know what? We need to make these things unthinkable. And how do you do that? When people are looking to the media, looking at influence, looking at who the big stars are, and who are people looking up to? It's going to be the people who are saying, screw that was wrong. And then that will dictate the rest of how people are going to act. When all the big celebrities, TV shows, comedy shows, people like Kimmel, take the other side of it, people get scared that they don't want to be the other. Nobody wants to be othered. They want to be part of the mainstream. So when the mainstream personalities are saying, do as you're told and take the medication regardless of what your doctor says, and YouTube allows people to do that, which is wild, then people are scared, like if I speak up, they'll come after me. Now, what if we inverted that? What if the Defiant was bigger than all these other bands? And they said, nah, you should just take your doctor's advice, ignore all these people. The government shouldn't force you. Then people are going to say, I'm scared to mandate. You see what I mean?
Yes.
That's my point.
I see what you mean, but I want your listeners to understand that too.
Yes, because then they'll buy
Do you
your
know
album.
what he's?
Well,
Do you know what he's asking you to do, people?
Well, in all
Specifically.
in all reality,
no
I'm saying,
uncertain terms. Tim is telling you, make the Defiant huge.
well,
The defiantofficial.com, by the way.
the simple point is, if people like, what genre would you describe your music as? Punk?
We call it punk, yeah.
Yeah. If you're into that kind of music, put it on your playlists.
Yeah.
Check out the songs. The songs are really great. And
If you're not into it, put it on your playlist too.
I guess
but no, look, if you're not into it, but you support ideologically, then be an activist and put it on your playlist and listen to it. Or even more so, buy the album to make a statement.
Yeah.
I prefer if you like the music, you buy it, and that's kind of why you're doing it. But what I want to see is everyone who's a good person.
That's the
succeed.
second thing we disagree on. I don't care if they like it or not. I still just want.
Just buy it. No, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'm kidding with you.
Good people should be successful. It shouldn't be that you guys are all good dudes who are sticking up for your friends or sticking up for yourselves or just following your doctor's advice and you get punished for it. So let me tell you guys a story. You guys ever hear of the Yes Men? These political activists?
Did they have like a TV show or something?
We're supposed to say yes.
I think
No.
yes.
I don't know if they had a show, but they do these culture jamming pranks. And one of the things they did was on the anniversary of the Bhopal disaster, which was this big chemical spill that happened. I think it was in India. Killed a lot of people. On the anniversary of it, or before the anniversary, they made a fake website that looked like a Dow Chemical website, which owns Union Carbide, the company involved. They made this fake website, and the BBC reached out to their fake website and asked them to send a representative to talk about it. They're activists, though. It was a trap. Dude goes on the BBC and then declares Dow Chemical will liquidate Union Carbide and use all of the revenue to pay the families and the victims of the Bhopal disaster. And the BBC was like, "What? Like, this is insane. This is crazy." Became massive news instantly. Dow Chemical instantly put out a press release saying, "This is not our representative. We are not doing this. We take no responsibility." The stock collapsed.
Wow.
And then after it was cleared up, it rebounded. That's not good news. What activists pointed out was when it became apparent to the public that Dow Chemical was doing the right thing in paying the victims of the disaster, their stock collapsed. People jumped ship and they lost money for doing the right thing. Turns out they weren't doing the right thing. They were doing the wrong thing and the stock rebounded. That's the sad reality of our culture and our system. So I'd prefer it if the Defiant hit Billboard #1, double platinum overnight for whatever reasons, and then we get to lord it over all the evil people and say, maybe you should be good people and you'd get support as well. Instead, it's just so crummy sometimes when it looks like all the nasty people are successful and they're winning and they're making money and they're, headlining these big shows. It's not always like that, but,
It could feel dark.
I'm optimistic. I feel good will overcome.
I agree. I do.
Yeah. I think ultimately.
Punk is a genre. I always thought it was like, hey, yeah, I'm yelling my shit. Like that's like punk, but is it more like you're considered a
Nailed
punk?
it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I was just getting started in it.
All right. Let's start again, Ian. What's the question?
I am a punk. Can you hear my voice? Like, anyway, I'm just that was a joke. But like that, it's like punk. Is it that you're considered a punk by the mainstream establishment? It doesn't matter how you sing. You might be singing a beautiful soprano voice, but if you're saying things that disrupt the establishment, are you then the new punk? Or is it just counterculture and the punk happened to be counterculture at the time?
That's
Punk-
subjective in so many ways. I mean, Bob Dylan could be considered punk rock,
I'd like to say punk is to music what your shirt is to shirts. You get a good shot of
It's classy, fantastic, beautiful,
Sloppy,
and inspiring.
but also a sloppy mess.
He's laughing. Like that's not what that shirt is.
Purchased on Amazon.
Shows the right amount of chest hair.
That's some
It's made of a synthetic
phrase here. I think it's silk.
I don't think necessarily punk has to be angry though. I mean, our record's not angry. We're not angry people. It's very melodic. But I think the punk attitude is that you have something to say.
Yeah, I really like that line in your song where it's like, "Bring on the guillotines, it's time." You know.
I don't recall that.
No, it's not in there. It's not in
But
there.
yeah, that to me feels like music in general has gotten really safe over the last decade or so, to where especially now, everyone's afraid to say anything. So all the music is very bland. Even the punk rock stuff is very bland enough that we're kind of saying something, we're shaking our fist at the man, but we're not really saying something. But hopefully whatever you're going through, you can take from this and think that the song is about you. It's bland enough to apply to everyone, but that, that's not taking a swing at anything.
Right.
So I think for a band like us to come out and people's expectations might be, because of my situation or Dicky's situation or any of our situation, that these are just going to be angry guys, shaking their fist at this guy, and it's not that at all. And I think that's what's been exciting, is for people to discover the music and be like, oh, my expectations were wildly off base. This is actually really, really accessible, really good.
So you could have like punk rock, like you were saying, punk pop. You could have punk
There's
rap.
an attitude for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still a musical style as well, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in that box per se.
So we have this song that I mentioned earlier, "The Kids Are Alt-Right" by Bad Religion, and the response everybody basically gave was like, this song sounds like they're in support of white nationalism. And it's really weird that because they just said it was against it, then the left just agreed with them. Like, one of the lyrics is, "If you're alone and feel downtrodden as an elixir for your ills, join the alt-right, post-light endarkenment order." There's everybody needs somebody, join the party. The kids are alt-right.
Bad Religion's definitely not alt-right.
Yeah,
if that helps.
we know
you.
those guys.
Well, I know, but like, I don't. This song was not written as a hard critique of alt-right. It's actually just writing what they think and how, if you're feeling down, you can be like them. And I was just like, what? I just thought that it was like a bad attempt at trying to be topical and being political.
I don't know.
They have a tendency to be somewhat sarcastic. I mean,
Yeah.
The Recipe for
narrator.
Hate, that record has a lot of that, which a lot of people, I remember in those days when that record came out, a lot of white supremacists took the lyrics of that song and were like, yeah, these guys are for us. And it was like, no, it's actually very sarcastic. A lot of the lyrics,
Yeah,
But that doesn't matter.
I think
If you write a song where it's like, join the party, and they're like, yes, please, you can claim it's sarcastic. But if the average person doesn't interpret it that way and it's a mixed message, all you're doing is telling people to be white nationalists.
Well, I think they're playing a character. I think that it's I don't think.
Yeah, it's not
I know
coming from
those
any-
guys. Yeah, it's like the song
It's
"We
like
Make
Dead
Drugs"
Kennedys
on.
had that same kind of thing though. It's like it's they play the part in order to to show to be more clever about it. It's like it's and if you don't get it, then you're the idiot kind of thing.
We did a song of that, Genocide. One of the lines is, you're marching to the beat of just like, that's
We
not
are.
what we are. We are marching and marching.
But we
to the-
literally are.
Well,
It's
I
about
don't think
war.
we are. I don't think we are, and I hope that talking about it changes it.
The weirdest thing for me as a kid who grew up punk rock for as long as I can remember is that it was all about sort of being anti-government, anti-big business, always questioning big pharma, always being anti-war, anti-industrial, military-industrial complex. All of these things were very... free speech was a very big one too, and all of these things were very. They also felt very left too. I like that. That to me, that's the most bizarre thing of this whole past few years is I'm literally the same person that I've always been, same beliefs, same everything else. It just the world around has become this.
Well, you're for free speech.
Yeah.
So you're a conservative.
No.
You are now.
But
Joe Rogan's
apparently
a
now,
conservative.
it's like
That's what we're saying, though.
It's
Like,
just
you can be standing in the same place, and the world
I'm
is
the
shifting
same-
around you, and now
I'm
you're getting pointed at. You're
literally
like,
doing the
"Move."
same. I'm saying the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I believe the same thing that I've always believed as a punk rocker. There were songs that I can attribute, like you said, with Government Flu with Dead Kennedys was really about COVID. Like that was a song that raised me, And it's like all of that stuff is, and I share those same.
Well, so the argument from the left is that if you were a liberal in 1955, 10 years later, you're like, I'm standing in the same spot, and all of a sudden they're calling me right wing for saying we shouldn't end segregation. You're like, what's going on?
Dude, it's like the NAACP would, while they were fighting against racism and fighting against segregation and everything else, they were also fighting for the right of a Klansman to be able to have their First Amendment rights.
You mean the
know what
ACLU?
I mean the ACLU.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, we're not doing that one.
No. Sorry.
No, but the argument from the left is that
I'm a high school dropout, Tim. So
There you go. Me too.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
the argument from the left is that if you were a traditional liberal in 1955, 10 years later, after the passing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, you're like, I don't understand. I've been standing in the same spot, but the world changed around me. And so their argument is, yes, if you hold the same views you did 30 years ago, you are a conservative because they are the left and the liberals, and you are the traditional right-wing position.
Reality, though, conservative is an adjective. It's not a noun. So you are conservative. You are not there is no such thing as a
There is.
adjective. That makes no sense. It's like a green. Am I really a green? No, green is an adjective.
Well, now you're just making semantic arguments, but people use the word liberal and
you
conservative to refer to a person.
as a neutral dude can be conservative sometimes and be liberal sometimes. And you can conserve liberal principles. Like the First Amendment. You obviously want to conserve the First Amendment. Doesn't make you a conservative. Like, dude, like very wildly liberal. Like, I want to liberate. I want to change the laws too. That makes me very liberal.
It's
Ian,
like
you're wrong. Conservative is a noun.
Well, that's what maybe the internet tells you, but keep it.
You can't believe everything Google tells
Don't
you.
put yourself in a box
Ian,
unnecessarily.
will you do your
If
punk
you-
rock song again?
Hey, I'm coming from the north and the south.
But if you think back
That
to
sounds
like,
like punk rock.
what punk rock was all about and what it's always been all about, it's like at the moment right now, I don't know what the percentage is, 70, 80% or more of all television
I don't have to
advertising, the advertising that's taking place on YouTube, it's all pharma based, right? It's like, this is what we've been trained for, you know what I mean? And we're funding, I don't know how many wars at the moment. Like this is what we've trained for.
Well,
you know what
I
mean?
got bad news for you guys. If you're anti-war, you have to vote for Donald Trump. He's the anti-war candidate. No, he's the first president in my lifetime that didn't start a war. He's
Yes.
he created a timeline for the withdrawal from
that's
Afghanistan.
true, and
I'm a Kennedy man
appreciated
myself.
that.
I think Kennedy would be good on
I'm
war
a
as well,
Kennedy guy,
especially.
too.
Yeah, I think Kennedy would not be. He would be anti-war. He'd be anti-mandate. So that's why a lot of people do like Kennedy as well. Yeah, but I find that acceptable. You know what I mean?
full
Like
support
excellent.
of RFK Jr. But
Is that-
But
did you guys-
I refuse to change my policy. I don't care how many wars there are. I don't care how many. I still am going to be anti-war.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm never going to like war. I'm never going to support it. I'm never going to feel good about any wars we're involved in. And I think that we should be sophisticated enough in the modern world to just say enough's enough and figure out how to end it.
Oh, but the machine needs to be fed.
I know.
You know,
I
so you gotta throw something into it.
Have you
know,
ever
gotta nuke something?
Did you read Smedley Butler's book?
No, but I've read excerpts as the best I can say.
It's an easy read.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
That
it's
was
a
the
good read.
banker plot, right?
That was
What was it called?
He was the most decorated Marine of all time, and this is what was his book called? I
Yeah.
think it was the business of
No,
war.
it wasn't the banker. What was that? The business.
Of war. Smedley Butler.
What was
War is
that?
a racket.
War's
guys-
a racket. Yes.
Anti-war classic by America's most decorated something or something.
Oh, okay.
General
Here we
Butler.
go. The Wall Street push, the business plot.
Gangsters of
Yeah,
capitalism.
yeah. When
there's a few.
these guys went to Smedley Butler and said they wanted to overthrow the U.S. government, take over.
Yeah. But anyway,
Crazy stuff.
but the whole book is about exactly, war is a business. War is a racket. We're sending people to die so that other people can get richer. And that hasn't changed a bit
Yep.
since good old Smedley's day.
Yeah, it was
That's
like
true, man.
after World War II, we were just talking about this on We Are Change. We kind of, as a country, had an opportunity to decide how are we going to unify this world? Are we going to do it culturally? Are we going to do it religiously? Are we going to do it scientifically? Or are we going to do it through war? And then Henry Kissinger, God rest his soul, just passed away at the age of 100, was like, we're going to do it through war, and we're going to do it through limited war. So we don't have to bomb Moscow if West Virginia gets hit. We don't go right for the capital. It's not, let's keep it limited. But I think they did us a great disservice. The other argument, though, is like, if you just sit tight and try and defend yourself and just have strong borders, that gives them an opportunity to develop a sneak attack. And you've got to like be looking outside and around for incoming potential threats. This like goes around and around in my head. Like the military-industrial complex has 97 military bases all over Earth. Ultimately, and like the Romans were doing the same thing because like the French thought they were safe from the Germans before World War II. They're like, we have the Maginot Line. It cannot be penetrated. The Ardennes Forest to the north cannot become. We're okay. We have a strong defense. And then the Germans had invented some new technology with the Panzer tank, and it just shredded all the defensive capability. They took the capital in 3 weeks.
They like went south, and then
They went through the forest.
Yeah.
Through the forest unexpectedly. So like just sitting, isolationism isn't the way, because then that gives them a chance to build up their military for a sneak attack. But I don't know. I don't think that invading and conquering countries is necessarily necessary in order to.
You're just saying like maybe a couple preemptive nukes on their
I
capitals?
don't know what to do because the United States won't.
Please
get
tell
taken.
me what he's saying. Yeah, like really having trouble following. I think it's me.
Basically, like if you don't patrol your borders beyond your borders, like if you just sit right behind the wall, someone's going to come over that wall. So you've got to go out there and that's what our military
This
industrial
isn't helping.
complex is.
This isn't helping.
Yeah, Ian's basically saying he wants limited warfare like Kissinger wanted.
I wonder if there's a better way to establish global dominance and or at least global order without warmongering.
Well, economic hitmen, like what if we sent intelligence assets and special agents to go offer up these leaders of these other countries bribes? If they don't take the bribes, then we try to remove them from power, and then when that doesn't work, we can send in these stage these coups and have them dragged through the streets, like Gaddafi was. Maybe something like that, Ian.
Just trying to buy them all off.
Ian, I'm describing what they literally do.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
There's do you guys know the tales of the economic hitman or whatever?
Yeah.
I forgot the guy's name. Luke would know way more about this, but basically he said this is what the U.S. Foreign policy is. We first go to them and say, you're going to do what we want and we're going to make you rich. And they go, I don't want to be rich. I'm going to fight for my people. Then they say, okay, then we're going to do everything we can to support your opponents and put in a new leader. Good luck. If that doesn't work, then they say, okay, send in the troops.
Did you have that guy on your show?
No.
That's John Perkins is his name. In the book's Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah, there you go.
I read that book.
Oh, right. So you know about this stuff.
Yes.
Crazy. Dirty.
Yeah.
Banana Republic, evil, crazy stuff.
Unsurprising.
We're at the point now where
but great book.
Yeah.
Like the United States isn't going to get invaded because they got nukes. Russia's not going to get invaded. China's okay. They're not going to get invaded. India's not going to get invaded. So like we're kind of past the whole conquer the earth thing now. Maybe they didn't expect that in the 50s. They thought like we have to, but
That's why they're going for the one world government.
like economically, the Economic Forum is trying to build like a new order, like a global order.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. You guys want to know the truth?
Yes.
The reason why all the UFO stuff is coming out, because what's actually happened is there's a galactic federation of planets. But the Earth can't join the Galactic Federation because there's no unified Earth government to represent Earth to the Galactic Federation. And so they came and the aliens were like, look, dude, if you want Earth in the Federation, you need a unified governing body to represent your planet. Otherwise, who are we bringing in, Russia or the United States or China? Y'all are going to blow each other up. So you get that sorted, we'll be back. And now they're like, quick, we got to join the Alien Federation. And that's why all the news about aliens is coming out. See, that proves it.
Wow. That's all it takes.
I told Joe that in Rogan, and he's like, I don't think there's a galactic federation. And I'm like, Joe, I'm joking. Like, come on, man.
If I could pick,
I guess it sounds a little plausible.
my perfect way forward would be that our culture is so badass that we establish such, everybody wants to learn English, everybody wants to dance like we dance and think like we think, that they start overthrowing their totalitarian governments and create statehood.
Yeah, the
locally.
problem is, though, half the country is like the parents from Footloose. We're trying to get everybody to dance, and they're saying, no dancing.
I think dancing is the answer, though. You're onto something here.
Yeah. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was prophetic.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know what's kind of sad is like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was amazing. And then Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then what was that third thing they did that was just like they took a dump on the floor?
Oh, I didn't see the third one.
Bill and Ted's Kids.
Guys, the 90s was the last decade. Do you agree?
I feel like it. Yeah.
Like the 90s.
So once we got into the 2000s,
But it's nicer to
yeah.
hear a younger person say that,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, like my favorite decade's probably the 80s. Just because of how insane it was with like the leopard print hot pants.
Yeah.
And the mullets. Yo, how much fun was that? And
Cocaine.
plus, Tears for Fears. Oh yeah, and the busy businessmen doing coke all the time. But Tears for Fears is just like one of the greatest music performances of all. I love Tears for Fears, but I do love the 90s too. I'm a kid of the 90s. But like, we can look at the 50s, we recognize it. We see the 60s, we recognize it. 70s, 80s, 90s. And then the 2000s happened, and it's kind of like, for the first few years, maybe like long sleeve shirts underneath short sleeve shirts or something. And then it just fizzled out, and now it's just a spattering of like,
especially film wise, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, my 14-year-old daughter loves 80s and 90s movies. That's all she wants to see. I mean, it's the
come on,
golden era. It's
Groundhog Day.
and the fashion too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Time kind of, first of all, you should check out Roland Orzabal's solo album, Tomcats Screaming. He's the lead singer from Tears for Fears. Tim, you're going to love that freaking
Probably.
album.
Tears for Fears is amazing.
But when the internet gets started, internet video, it kind of time ceased to exist. Like time is, first of all, not a real thing. It's a human concept to explain motion.
Disagree.
We use it to coordinate motion, but basically things are just spinning around in the universe, constantly moving. All it is movement. And so we built this thing called time to like understand where things will be when, or where things are going to be. But
I got to pause you there and just say Ian's
I mean,
wrong.
we could do a whole show about that.
Time
can,
is a thing. It does exist.
So with the static nature of internet video, you no longer wait till Thursday. Like you don't have like next week on. It's like it's always there all the time. So like that's I think why this idea of like decades are gone. Like it's all one space now. It feels like in a lot of ways.
If you believe modern science, and I can totally get that a lot of people at this point are like, I don't even know, man. Time is a thing.
It's a construct.
No, like they've sent a bunch of spheres into orbit that were like 4/100ths of an atom correct, and then had them drag through space-time to prove Einstein's theories that space-time is a tangible thing.
Space-time is a thing. I'm talking
right,
about
and space and time are right.
Space-time is a
But
is a
also cultural time is a different thing. Now, we actually had this conversation earlier talking about, there was a cultural change that was much more rapid from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Man, things really changed.
Yeah.
Now, things don't really, like decade by decade, it's, musically and things like that, you're not seeing that drastic of a change between what was happening in the 50s, 60s. I mean, there was a massive change just in just a short amount of time. Now it almost like time has slowed down culturally. And in terms of things changing and things progressing. That's my theory on it.
Kids are going to see bands now that you saw in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Offspring are still selling tickets.
Oh, dude,
and-
there was a viral video of a woman wearing a Nirvana shirt. She was like 18, and she's like, I don't know what this is. Everybody just has it. They wear it. And she's like, I don't even know what it is. And it's like, that's a band from the 90s.
My point I'm
late 80s,
making is,
90s.
though, that, and if Nirvana was still around, people would still be seeing Nirvana concerts. But I wasn't going to see the Big Bopper in the 1980s.
Exactly.
Or the 1970s.
But,
Exactly. When you were the
Yeah.
Big Bopper was not headlining a festival in 1980. You know what I'm saying?
That's because he got killed in a plane
okay,
crash.
sorry, bad example. But you know what
that's a
my
good
point
point
is?
too,
My
John.
point is 50s artists were not headlining festivals in the 1980s, where now the artists that are headlining festivals are from at least 40 years ago.
Let
It's
me ask
bizarre.
you, like,
So in fairness
when-
to the Big Bopper, if he was alive, I might have caught one.
Worst example,
If
sorry.
he hadn't gotten
Bad
that little
example.
plane,
when you guys were
Buddy
young,
Holly? No, not Buddy Holly.
when you guys were younger, were there like older dudes wearing jackets that said like Harry Roy and his orchestra, or like Glenn Miller Band?
No.
Or how about Harry James? These
No.
are the top bands of the 1930s.
Right.
You know, my guy over here is wearing a Misfits jacket. We love the Misfits.
Yeah.
But like, what is that? Like 80s?
1980s.
I love the 80s, by the way. I mean, so good, right? See what I was saying? You guys agree. But I mean, that's
40 years.
40 years ago, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy,
40
right?
years from
In the
like
80s,
when
they're
I
like,
played
dude,
with the
Harry
Misfits
James.
in 1982. 40 years from that, it would be like,
Back to the Future is a perfect example.
some
of that. You know, Back to the Future is like it's a 30-year period, and you're just like, oh my god, look how different the world was in 1955 versus 1985. Like if you do that from 30 years now, it would not look that much different.
You think the cultural shifts that were happening, as drastic changes from decade to decade, was because the mass media was like forcing us to see it a certain way?
No, I think the lack of interconnection actually pushes things forward. Because then people are going, oh, what's going on over there? Oh, wait, what's going on? And there's not so much transparency, I think. That's just my own theory.
So like this homeostatic, it's because we're so connected. It's slow. It's not changing as fast now. Like actors are getting AI versions of their personalities getting created for future movies. James Earl Jones just said he doesn't want to do Star Wars anymore, but they can have the rights to his
They already do
voice.
have the rights to his voice.
Yeah. So he's around forever. Like time just stopped all of a sudden.
Yep.
There's no more.
did he sell the rights to his voice, or did he just say you could have it?
Well, so the challenge, I think, they're definitely going to go and ask him. I think he did sell the rights.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
he
sure.
did the thing where you record all the phonetic
Yeah.
permutations, so it's
But we're
preserved.
also at a point where, and 30 Rock predicted this one, where Jack Donaghy, played by Alec Baldwin's like,
Oh, yeah.
we have the rights to Jerry Seinfeld's voice from Seinfeld, so we can just take all the recordings and then mash his lines and make a new show. So he's like, it's like, that's technically correct. You could put them all in a database and then run them through the AI to make a new show using his voice.
Yeah.
So we've done this with a voice app. Like I can take any one of your voices,
You
30.
take Ian's voice.
I'm not going to do it right now because I have to pull up the app.
Yeah, take it and then put it through a filter so I can understand what the fuck he's been talking about.
You and a lot of other people. But you can take like a clip of Rogan for 10 seconds and then make Rogan say anything
I
you want.
think I heard that clip. I think I heard they
There's a
actually
bunch
did
of them.
that. Yeah.
We did it. We've done a bunch for fun. We like
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson say stuff, and you can just make anybody say anything you want these days.
It's crazy though, because
It's
a lot
getting
of
better and better.
these Hollywood contracts will be like, we own your likeness in perpetuity across all universes and every venue. And it's like Chris Hemsworth. I don't know if he signed that when he did Thor, but to think that Disney could do a deep fake of Chris Hemsworth saying and doing whatever they want him to do is like a human rights violation. If that guy didn't give, like he signed some contract before deep fake technology existed.
Yeah. Of all the human right violations that are going to take place going forward, that's going to be the one I'm least concerned about.
I think we should play some music.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think if you guys
let's
want
do
to
it.
play some songs, we'll play some songs.
I've run out of energy.
All right, well, go to sleep.
I'm kidding.
Let's get it.
So, let's get it.
I'll pull up. We'll intermix some super chats while they're getting all that stuff ready. But I figure we'll do the songs now. We'll get the super chats in, and we'll go a little later than we normally
And I'll
do.
explain everything else to you after that, Dicky.
Yeah. While they're getting the music stuff set up, which would probably take about a minute, we'll grab some super chats. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. And Carter, you're standing in front of the camera.
Sorry, everyone.
All right, here we go. Xana 520 says, I regretfully have to announce the passing of one of my feline companions. He was a trooper. He was abandoned, survived frigid winters outside, got shot, and was brought back from the brink. It would have to be cancer to finally take him out. Rest in peace, Toby. Run free. Wow, man. Sorry to hear it. Mr. Bokus is here. You know, Mr. Bokus has got a neckerchief on right now because he scratched his back up pretty bad. And but you know, I don't know how much time he has left, but he made it a year. He made it a year.
Oh, listen to that.
Look at that. You see, they're getting ready.
That sounds good.
This
I'm
is
gonna go to
gonna
the
be
bathroom
awesome.
now that we're taking a little interlude.
Here we go. It's gonna be fun. Ethan Sacco says, "Gotta miss tonight to see the shift." I'll post how it is. We, I want to be totally dishonest. You know, we did buy tickets, but with Alex here, we wanted them. We filmed a commercial for Casper, so and then with sound check and production, we were just up here all night. We weren't able to actually go see the shift yet.
Check 1, 2.
Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that too loud for you?
Well, that's
Not, why am I in a bucket? I'm in a bucket, dear Eliza.
Let's see
Yes.
which camera is the. I'll switch it over.
Yeah, just give us a minute. Sorry, guys. Just give us a minute.
We're playing acoustically. I think that's worth mentioning.
It sounded so good earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I don't want, I want people to buy the record. Our record rocks.
It does.
And Pete doesn't sit on it.
Well, that was funny because they played one song. It is over or it's over.
It is over.
It is over. And then I was like, wait, was that an original? And Dicky's like, you didn't listen to the album. I was like, I got to be honest.
What do I got to do? What is it going to take?
But the song was so good. I was like, wait, there's no way that was like, that's too good.
You've done all right for yourself. Come on.
I got to be like, okay, well, then what I should say is those other songs weren't good enough. I expect more from you guys.
What do you think?
What song you guys got first? This is my favorite, but I think It Is Over, my new favorite. Pete showed me the album early on, and that was Dead Language. I was like, whoa, that song, that slaps.
Thank you.
Alright, almost there.
How you feeling?
Friday night, punk rock show, acoustic. Pete did this really awesome thing where he's sitting on the kick drum with his heel on the pedal.
We're saving space here.
Yeah, just look at this, man.
Okay, well.
The original music setup we had was like, we'll do an acoustic guitar and a singer maybe, but these guys were like, we could do it. And I was like, yes, you can do it. Yeah.
Yep. So this is the Defiant stripped down version
You ready?
of a set. First Trash House sessions, and yeah, I'm ready when you guys are.
Oh wait, Serge.
Surges? Oh, he's trying to get the camera real nice. So yeah, these clips from these sessions are going to go on the Trash House YouTube channel. What's the channel? Is it Trash House Records on YouTube?
It is Trash House Records on YouTube, correct?
So all the clips from all the songs will be up there as well.
Correct.
And we got more coming. I was talking to Phil. Phil said they're going to come with All That Remains later on at some point when they're doing more shows. I'm like,
yeah.
anytime, buddy.
Cool.
Dude, I love that Pete is just slammed in the corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Defiant.
There we go. Go outside and leave this place. I've got the AC blast in my face, and I feel awkward and out of place. I've got everything I need right here, fingertips, literally, and there's an app for everything. So I go back to reality. It's clearly overrated, my dear. Why fall in love? Love is blind. Plus, who's got that kind of time? And now we walk like zombies in the land of the lost. Refabricated, rush your eyes so wrong. Best of these dead language and the time that you caused. Thank the Lord for opposable thumbs. Sleep by the well, crawling from the curb to the door. I've had some deep conversations with the living room floor. I should have died at 27 like my heroes before, but I was too busy having fun, and I was too busy getting done. Oh, I fall in love, I heard it's blind. Plus, who's got that kind of time? And I can't dance and I don't drink wine, so what the hell is in it for me? Why fall in love? Love is blind. Plus, who's got that kind of time? And now we walk like zombies in the land of the lost. Prefabricated universe, rise or rock. Rest in peace, bad language in the time that you caused. I thank the Lord for opposable thumbs. I sleep at the well, crawling from the curb to the door. I've had some deep conversation with my living room floor. I should have died at 27 like my heroes before, but I was too busy having fun, and now we're too busy getting done. Zombies in the land of the lost. Prefabricated universe, rise or cross. Rest in peace, your dead language and the time that you caused. I thank the Lord for opposable thumbs. I sleep at the well, crawling from the curb to the door. I've had some deep conversations with my living room floor. I should have died at 27 like my heroes before, but I was too busy having fun, and now we're too busy getting dumb. We're too busy getting dumb. Carter, my headphones are not working.
Headphones not working? All right.
It's okay, but that was fun. Did you
Wow.
enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, especially with the monitors not working.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
How did it sound to you?
Where are you? It sounds great. I'm not using headphones, so golden.
You guys, none of you were?
That song is called Dead Language.
How are your headphones?
They sounded good. You're good.
Okay.
Dig, let me know how those work out.
Check me. Don't lie to me, Pete. I'm not here to lie to you. Check. All right, this is the way this sounds. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
pull that
You bet.
reverb back a little bit.
They
there,
were in
Carter.
and out. To
Just
be
a little
fair
bit.
to you,
Yeah,
they
you
were
go.
in and out.
Yeah, we need better connector
Tim could
cables.
buy you a better pair, I think.
That's right.
Hey Carter, go to his actual
corners.
channel and just pull back some of the EFX on his vocal channel right there.
This
No,
song
ready
is
to go.
called Where Were You? It's
All
off
right.
of our album. The album's called If We're Really Being Honest. Send this out to the Timcast, his listeners. Everybody tuned in?
Yep.
Give a damn, I'll tell you I ain't better than nothing. And I put down this rug before, don't ask me how I seem so sure. I'm sure that would end the discussion. The rearview mirror caught my eye. So goodbye to everyone in it. And they're imitating life. Where were you when it all went down? When I needed someone you weren't around. Why was it that you were nowhere to be found when I needed you most? Tell me where it was that you were. And now you see, now you don't. I don't know when I'm coming home. And hey, how did I look on television? If this road is my only path, someone else can do that. I'm tired of the long division. The windshield doesn't look quite right. He's hoping that it might get brighter. The future's brighter, right? Where were you when it all went down? When I needed someone you weren't around. Why was it that you were nowhere to be found when I needed you most? Tell me where it was that you were at the time. And where did you go? Hard to keep your eyes on you, but I'd like to know. Where were you? And where did you go? I'd like to know. Was that you were? All right.
Nice.
That was nice. Thank you. Yeah. Let's do these shoes and it's over.
What? Liberty, bro.
All right. Okay.
Hit that like button.
Just like, put me on the spot.
All right, Joey. Let's go.
All right, ladies.
Of our Lord 2020, I think that the month it was March. For humanity's sake, we were asked to partake in a breakdown the arc of the arch. The rogues did resist, and the scoundrels insist to engage would be too tall a task. So do not disturb and get kicked to the curb, make no mention or bother to ask. Oh no, where did Lady Liberty go? Oh dear, she packed a bin, I dealt it out of hand. The silence was silent, the sidelines were full, and the stands they were standing remotely. I spectated a sport that you couldn't cut short in a league where you're left out and lonely. Some would look inward and some would dig, and others would just look around. Keep your eyes on the shepherd and not on the sheep, just be blankly you finally found. Oh no, where did Lady Liberty go? Oh says that you could care less. Good day and God bless. Now she can't be found. Lost desperate cases just above ground. And where do you go when you're gagged and you're bound? Good day, we say good day, and we'll see you around.
Lots they were locked and the latches were latched on the cage and the cuffs and the casket. Oh! The workers up front were dismissed or dispatched. Got a question, now it's time to ask it. The governor held in the highest regard, and oh wow, how the mighty had fallen.
I guess the whole mess was not in the guys, but do you hear the pipes they are calling? Oh no, where did Lady Liberty go? We don't know where she went, but we can sure as hell tell you the reason why. Good day and goodbye.
All right.
Sick one.
Yeah.
What y'all got next
Shoes
for us?
for you.
Oh, thank you.
These shoes.
Living in a dream, seems so strange. I hope it's sunny day. All along I was away. My eyes are wide and I can see a world gone black, and not enough my heart has not turned back. I predict another sunny day, and I'm not ever looking back. Sometimes I get the blues. You couldn't walk a mile in these shoes. I'm not the kind who's gonna crumble and fall apart, but when I look around, it really breaks my heart. Always laughing on the inside, and I'm guessing that's a start. It's a time you kind of float. You couldn't walk a mile in these shoes. Good rapid sounds around. The sky would break my fall. Could pull it apart and put it back together. Run before we crawl. And if everything with nothing left, there's nothing left to prove. You couldn't walk a mile in these shoes. Have us fooled. You couldn't walk a mile in these shoes. For a moment I thought my luck had changed. I was living in a dream that seemed so strange. I predicted another sunny day, and I'm not ever looking back. You had us fooled, and you thought were so cool, but you couldn't walk a mile. Now you couldn't walk a mile, and you couldn't walk a mile in these shoes. I I fucked that one up pretty badly. I'd like to apologize to my band, to Tim and your entire staff.
I'm having a good time.
That sounded pretty good.
If there's anybody still listening,
I'm not wearing headphones, so I can.
Yeah, you got like 22,000
Well,
people.
all right, then I won't apologize to you, Joey. Our mix was so good earlier.
It's still good.
All right, okay.
Yeah, no. I couldn't tell at all.
We're louder now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, we're getting all
I'm
amped.
actually listening to both what's going out and what's coming from you guys, so it sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good to hear.
A lot of shows, they don't have this kind of discussion.
It's true, but I'd like to think it makes this one
The
unique.
guy talks to the sound guy.
I
with the
believe
guy
we're
in
the
the
first, right?
I mean, we were planning for like.
Could you come to Anaheim and do our sound? I'd like to talk to you during the third song.
Sure.
We don't have
audience is like, what the
we don't have a sound. Yeah.
Got a lot of fire emoji.
Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay. They've made that clear, and it's time we say goodnight. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay. They made that clear, and it's time to say goodnight. You don't want this to end. Oh, you don't know when we'll be back this way again. Give them our regards and let them know there's no regrets. You know you don't want to let it go just yet. Oh, just yet. So where do we go now that it is over? You can't stay. They've made that clear, and it's time we say goodnight. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay. They've made that clear. It's time we say goodnight. You know what? We don't want to live. And we've got nothing up our sleeve. When you give all you've got to give, that's when you really start to live, my friend, my friend. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay. Let me that clear, and it's time we say goodnight. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay. Let me that clear, and it's time we say goodnight. The beautiful sounds of the Defiant. We'll get older and we'll get through. We'll hold on and hold on to memories once fed we swear and trust. And we'll see you down the road, my friend. It's just an ending, not the end. Fail we may, both sail away we must. And we must. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay here, they've made that clear. It's time we say goodnight. Where do we go now that it is over? We can't stay here, they've made that clear. It's time we say is over. It's a question we got to ask ourselves now.
The casino.
What are we going?
That wasn't a joke.
I
know, it
casino.
White
Thank you.
lung.
Hey, on behalf of me and the Defiant, thank you so much. Thanks for everything. What a really lovely time we had.
That was awesome. Those
Thanks for being our
harmonies
first performance. It was
Yes.
very brave of you.
I know. Is there anybody listening still?
Yeah,
Is there
20,000
any
people.
possibility of that?
Yeah, we have a
Not a lot.
shitload of fire emojis in the chat. More
Hand
concerts,
claps,
Timcast.
cheering.
Oh, look at that.
Really?
Yeah, you know,
Pew.
I think just so
Hard
everybody
no.
understands,
The guy just said hard no.
Oh, I mean, they're look,
Hard
you get
no.
you get
It's
you
the
get
internet.
the haters. It's the
Encore,
internet.
someone said.
But
That
I mean, look,
song's
this
really good.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Over? Is that
Dead
called
Language?
It's
Is my
Over?
favorite. Easy. Like I know 90% of the words.
Yeah.
But we set this
I know
whole.
90% of the words too.
That's pretty good for you, But we set this
The
up.
other ones, it's 60%.
We set this up for basically 2 stools and like a guitar and maybe 2 guitars and a singer. And
Brought
so
the stools.
for the first
scope
show,
creep.
we're like, we'll just maybe people be on the cajon. And then the
here we
crew was
are.
like, no, we want to do the full band, and Carter's like, we can pull it off, and so we did as best we could, I guess.
We couldn't fit any more in here.
Yeah, I think I'm having a blast. How you guys doing?
I'm having
You
fun.
got another song?
Yeah. You want to do another one?
Go for it.
Yeah,
Let's roll.
Absolutely.
I don't know, Joey. I don't know. I tried to cancel one.
I met my love.
By the game.
He almost played the Archies. I was getting excited.
Do you want to try drugs?
The answer to that is yes.
Who said yes? Ian?
Over here. We'll
You
talk
know
later.
Ian's good.
Yeah. Let's get exploratory, my friend.
What's something we could play that would sound good?
I don't think
Question you
there's
got
any
to
chance
ask
of that.
yourself.
Oh man, look at this dead space going on. This is not.
No pressure.
Get back home.
Yeah, we can finish out the super
Love
chats.
Here, you know what? Look, we got the record right here. Let's look at what we got.
Let's check some out. You guys want to play the impression?
Can you play
The
it?
one you opened with.
Yo,
again.
if you could play it.
No.
No? Oh.
Yeah, how does that work?
There's no horns. I don't know how you'd pull it off.
Why don't we just say goodnight?
Okay, well, it was your idea, bro.
Earlier today, he was like, "Hey, I've been in television for a long time. You only do 4 songs."
Well, I guess we'll have to have you all back for the encore then.
I
Yeah.
don't see any other way of ending.
Throwing us all under the bus.
Everybody loves me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rip it.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right.
All right, we got an encore.
Rushed right over that one.
All right, last one. Here we go. Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
A dagger or a butter knife. I can kill your dreams and I can save your life. I'm a red flag in a front blue streak. You're gonna have me brag if you allow me to speak. A mule is gonna kick, the donkey took a punch. They took me out to dinner, they said I was at the lunch. I'm famous and you're dead, I'm in on your parade. Everybody loves me. I'm the uppercut that broke the bottom jaw. I'm down below the radar, but I'm way above the law. I'm full of ceremony and sacrilege. I'll put out your fire and you burn your bridge. I'm the top shelf on the bottom rung. I'm a loose cannon, I'm a son of a gun. I'm a third rail, I'm a coffin nail. But everybody loves me, loves me. Everybody loves me, loves me. Everybody loves me. I'll build you up, but a couple on a peg. I'm pushing all your buttons and I'm pulling your leg. So now press pause, cause I'm a lost cause. But everybody loves me, loves me. Everybody loves me, loves me. Everybody loves me, loves me. Everybody loves me, loves me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the
So come
Defiance.
see us play with the Aquabats on the 8th in
Wow.
Anaheim, California.
And,
Right on.
Fly out. If you're not in the air, fly in.
It's the defiantofficial.com.
Yeah, where can everyone find you guys?
Where can they find us?
Yeah. Other than Anaheim
At the casino.
and the casino, like online, if they want to hear these songs.
Yo, Carter, pull that EFX down real fast.
Oh, yeah, people are going to your website right now, thedefiantofficial.com. Is that the best place for people to go?
We have a YouTube channel as well.
The YouTube channel? Let's find out. Is that the Defiant?
It's the Defiant official as well. Yeah, it's all.
What we're trying to bring back is buying singles and albums because they're more powerful than streams. So if we, when we put out our songs, we asked everybody just buy the 69-cent version of the song instead of just adding it to your playlist. Most people listen to music don't actually care about the bands. They don't care about the culture. They don't care about winning. They're like, I'll turn on my app and then press play on the radio app or whatever. And then in order to actually get to a chart or whatever, you need millions of streams. Whereas you only need like 10,000 purchases of a song to actually get that high as well. So are you going to convince 10 million people to listen to the song one time? Or are you going to convince 10,000 people to buy the song and have it in their collection forever? That has a bigger cultural impact, and it's only 69 cents. So buying the album, buying the song, if everybody who cared about winning the culture war bought their music, the only music that would be succeeding are the bands that actually ask their fans to buy music. You'd knock out some of these big, mainstream pop artists really quickly.
Right.
To be fair, they still sell like the big guys, like they'll sell like 500,000 overnight of one of their songs. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. But right on, gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
Joey's going to have to mail all that shit out.
Come on, man. I'm a one-man show.
One-man mail
What are
order
you trying to do?
thing. This sounds...
No, I'll take on that.
Either scenario sounds great to me.
Right on. All right. Well, I do want to grab just a few more super chats from everybody before we dip out, just to try and squeeze those in, and read some of the questions and stuff that people have brought in. So I'll try and see if we can get any of the good ones.
Everybody loves me.
That was a good way to end it. I like that one.
That's hot.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any? I want to try. You know what we'll try and do? I'll try to make sure we clarify this next time we have acts though, because I think it would be great if we had super chats for the band questions and things like that. And I know we do have some, but here we go. Stephen Frost says, to me, punk music is always the voice of those who defy the government when they cross the line. Pete, you are the true spirit of punk, regardless of your circumstance, and you deserve all the good that comes to you, bro.
Thank you very much. That's super sweet to hear.
Right on.
The fucking machine. The generator himself.
Joshua French says, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones got me through my first deployment when I joined the Navy back in 96. Mass respect.
Damn.
Thank you for your service.
And thank you for yours.
Thank you, Ian, for yours.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, this is one of my favorite episodes, Mad Chill. Dicky is funny AF. It's like a Culture War episode. I can't wait for the jam. And then the jam happened. So that was from earlier.
Chat was going wild during the music.
All fire emojis. Yeah, everybody was super excited. And you look, I do tremendous gratitude for you guys coming down, being our first ever attempt at like a live show on stream. So we're gonna tweak it. We're gonna improve the best we can. So I really do appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you get to the new place, we can do a rock version.
Yeah. The new place, we have like a pro company setting. We have like a big company coming in doing all this crazy stuff. Whereas this studio is basically, we duct tape the whole thing together.
It's so small. No,
it's not a small. Well, people think it's small.
It is small. It is small.
What is small? This room?
Yeah, I think so.
This room,
what we're trying to do.
Well, so for yes, but this room is 16 by 35.
Yeah.
16 by 35. So a lot of people think it's like 8 by 10 or something. No, 16 by 35.
No, we have a big table.
The next room we're doing, I think, is what? It's 25 by, I think, 40.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
25 by something like that.
Where's my pen and paper?
No, actually, it's 25. It's 25 by 50.
I mean, it's quite
long.
25 by 50. Yeah, a lot bigger.
That's a bigger room. Is that a?
It's larger.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger.
Can't keep up with these numbers.
Yeah, you got to do the math. You draw the rectangle,
So
multiply.
this room is 13 by.
16 by 35. I think it's weird. Like 16
Was
by
this
35.
the master bedroom? You think?
No, this was called the sewing room.
The what room?
Ian,
Sewing
didn't you
room.
live in here once?
It was my bedroom before.
It's too big for a sewing room, but
No,
it's
yeah.
too small for the Defiant to rock out in.
Yeah,
I come from LA, and so it's funny that there's actually a room called a sewing room, where it's like you barely have a bedroom.
Yeah, we have we have
a room. What do we call that? I don't know. It's
the room next door is called the bonus room.
The child
It's the second living room. The living room is called the great room because it has a kitchen and a living room, but it's also massive.
Yeah.
This is like a weird building. It really is.
Yeah.
This is not your normal kind of house because it was, I guess they duct taped a bunch of different modular structures together to make it.
I think this was the kids'
That makes a lot
bedroom
of sense now.
before we
Yeah.
Tim bought the place.
Pete's like, that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
When you come here, there's a window on the top of the building, and it took us like several months to be like, wait, where's that window? Like, what room is that? And then we went upstairs, and there's a wall there, and there's no room. And then eventually we punched a hole in the wall, and there's a secret room. Like,
How big is that room?
it's huge, but it's not. It's
Can we
unfinished.
play that room next time?
You can't stand in there. It's completely unfinished, and it's like I'm so confused as to how there's a window.
Yeah.
And like, how do we fix the window if it breaks? You can't even go in there. So there's a hole now in the wall in this secret, weird space that was never finished. It's just, it's crazy building.
Really,
Is
the
the
whole
whole
probably
conditioner
goes-
off.
I've gotten lost in here before.
Yeah, I kept
took the wrong
wandering. I
stairs.
kept wandering
It's
around,
5
and I
stories.
was just like, "Wait, there's still more house. Like everywhere I go,
It's
there's still more buildings.
5 floors.
It's a goddamn.
There's an
skate
enormous
park in the
half pipe downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6-footer. There's a
badass.
6-foot half pipe in the basement of this
Yeah.
building. All right, everybody, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me personally at Timcast. The band is Defiant. What was your website again?
The defiantofficial.com.
Buy the album. Albums are big.
Yes.
So what do we got to do? We sell 10,000
We
albums.
got to
and you guys
talk
are on
more
Billboard.
about that off because everything you said sounded good to me, but I was just like, I'm doing everything wrong.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Well, let's get it going. Thank you
When
guys.
We made these albums. I don't think we have enough to do those numbers, though, do we? Did we make enough for that?
Well, he's
I
talking
feel like
buy
we
it
press
digitally.
more in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying buy it digitally, not buy the album?
You can buy vinyl too.
can
Oh, I
buy
mean,
the
I don't know.
vinyl,
You guys
but
sell
he's
the
just-
digital album?
You should definitely buy the album.
Buy the album anyway.
There's lots of ways to buy the album.
Physical
That's all
albums
we're
better.
saying.
Buy the record.
You guys
Just don't
mailing out
stream
physical
the
I
albums?
thought
Yeah,
you were
we got
talking about
vinyl.
actual vinyl. I thought that's
Yeah,
what you were
yeah.
talking about.
Oh, dude, you guys have it on vinyl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yo,
buy
do you,
that for
do you
sure.
guys have a copy here?
So here's what we're doing for the
$30.
new studio. In the skate park portion, when we play music while we skate, the rule is you have to put on a full album. We bought a 1990s sound system.
Yeah.
We're going to wire it to speakers on the ceiling and everything. And then we're going to do a CD or a vinyl. You put it on, you play it from start to finish. None of this randomized radio nonsense, thumbs up, thumbs down. No. We're like real albums, real music. If you want music, that's what you got to do. Those are the rules.
Nice.
That's cool.
So we'll grab your album for sure. All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for
for
hanging
having
out to everybody who hung out this amazing Friday night for our first new jam session. We have more to come. We're actually going to start booking more musical guests. So, we definitely want to reach out to 5 Times August because he was here last time and we had this set up and we didn't even think twice. He was on Pop Culture Crisis. And I was like, bro, we should have had him come up and jam. But then also, of course, we have music and we've got a new music video coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh yes.
And oh man, I can't say. Should I mention a little bit about what we have going on? I think we
You
have
can
to.
mention it a little bit. We shouldn't promote it just yet because only today I've got all the numbers synced up and everything, but it's going to be coming out.
I just want to mention we fully expect Michael Knowles and Jeremy Boring to be in the video. So that's all I want to say for now. But it's going to be so much fun. So anyway, yeah. If Ian wanted to, Carter, Ian, you want to shout out anything before we wrap up?
I just want to say thanks for coming out and being the first band, guys. Like I'm so happy with how it went tonight. It sounded
good.
great.
Awesome.
And
Excellent.
just so everyone else knows that you can hear all this that we had tonight will be uploaded to Trash House Records YouTube. And yeah,
Right on.
that's it.
Yeah, man, be good to yourself because that's where it all begins. And then you be good to your community. Good to meet you guys. That was fucking rock star. That was hot. Let's do this again. I'm looking forward to it.
Right on.
Thank you. Thank
Serge, do you want to say anything before we sign off?
Yeah, my camera got all screwed up there, so it's the best we got for the moment.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah, peace. Thanks,
That was
guys, for
funny.
coming through. That was fun. Really appreciate it. Let's
All
get
right,
to,
everybody. Yo,
our
it's gonna
homes.
be a really wild next couple of weeks. We're gonna be at Amfest on stage with Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk. I hope you guys are watching, or if you're there, we're gonna have a whole lot of fun. We've got more music coming up. We're off for the week of Christmas, but thank you for joining this 1st of December, and we'll see you all Monday.